down. He throws a slider. He calls a cutter, but he's good whatever he calls it.
And of course, he's got the lineup behind him that leads the major league in home runs. A number of those have been hit by Mark Teixeira, who's standing by in the Yankee dugout with the Buster Olney.
Mark, since May 25th, you're hitting .305 with 7 homers. Can you describe the change you made?
Just getting back to being myself, really. Not really worrying about where I'm hitting it. It's hard enough just to hit it hard. So just kind of relaxing a little bit more and going back to the way I've always played the game.
Now, tonight you're facing a pitcher, Dickey, who's been all but unhittable in his last 2 starts. What was the approach you guys talked about taking tonight?
Just make sure it's up. You just have to try to hit strikes, because if you chase against a guy like R.A., you're going to have a long night. And then swing hard in case you hit it.
Mark, thanks. Dan?
Buster, thank you. This one is going to be fun. CC Sabathia looking for his 10th win of the season as the New York Yankees try to make it 2 out of 3 against the New York Mets. But standing in the Yankees' way tonight, a guy who has given up 2 hits in his last 2 games, R.A. Dickey, on his way into the mound with that fluttering knuckleball. The Yankees and the Mets coming up.
Presented by State Farm.
The phenomenon continues to get more unlikely.
It's a great story. Different than most. A little wild, more offbeat, unpredictable. It's a story about controlling the uncontrollable. About harnessing an oddity into an effective tool. And maybe it's one for the history books.
In there! Back-to-back one-hitters for
He has become the talk of baseball in recent weeks. R.A. Dickey, back-to-back one-hitters, and has not allowed an earned run in his last 42 2/3 innings pitched. 11 wins on the season and an ERA of an even 2. He will be tested tonight by the always potent offense of the New York Yankees. This is a game. Every time that I spoke to Terry Francona this week, he said, this is going to be so much fun.
I may go Dick Vitale on you tonight. I haven't been as excited for a game since I got out of uniform as tonight. This is as good as it gets. This is going to be fun.
The only guy in the majors who throws a knuckleball, a guy who once pitched for Oral Hershiser as pitching coach in Texas. It was one of the reasons that R.A. Dickey started experimenting with a knuckleball. You can join our companion broadcast at ESPN.com's Gamecast for advanced statistics and interact with Buster Olney on Twitter or on Twister at Buster_ESPN and hashtag SNB. You can also like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/ESPN Baseball Tonight. Joe Girardi and the New York Yankees are in first place in the American League East after starting 21-21 to 21-7 since. Derek Jeter has done some of his best work against the New York Mets over the years. He also leads the American League in hits this season. Alex Rodriguez is scuffling. 5 for his last 31, 12 homers, 33 RBIs on the season. Robinson Cano. Unbelievable numbers when you consider the quality of hitter that Cano is, hitting just 141 with runners in scoring position. That is a look at your New York Yankees starting lineup presented by Taco Bell. Oral, what are they dealing with tonight in R.A. Dickey?
Well, the knuckleball, he has command with it. He throws it for strikes better than anybody in history. He throws it harder than anybody in history, and he can change speeds. And if we have a great night weather-wise, which I think we do, he actually can know which way it's going.
And listen to the electricity and the atmosphere here at Citi Field. Does not feel like a regular season game. Jeter ready. Getting ready. Dickey waiting. And we are underway. And a chopper hit weakly back towards the mound. One pitch, one out. Dickey, 37 years of age, and has had his best success in his last couple of years with the New York Mets. Here's the defense behind him tonight. Lucas Duda leads the team with 11 homers, a left-handed bat in there but a right field against CC Sabathia tonight. Ruben Tejada just activated off the DL, back into the lineup at shortstop for the Mets tonight. And behind the plate is Josh Thole, who caught Johan Santana's no-hitter a few weeks back. He too back from injury, had a concussion that cost him a few weeks. A strike to Granderson. And again, worth repeating what Oral said. That knuckleball is coming in hard. Low 80s.
Well, that first pitch to Granderson was a fastball.
No play for David Wright.
And it was just about guaranteed that Granderson was going to take, because Jeter swung at the first pitch and made it out. And I think that's why you saw the fastball use it to his advantage.
As we pick up the signs tonight, R.A. Dickey's fastball will be a 3. The 1 will be the knuckleball.
Big power numbers again this year for Granderson. And a swing and a grounder out to second. 2 down. What amazes you more, Oral, how hard he throws the knuckleball or how consistently in the strike zone he is with the knuckleball?
Well, when he was a conventional pitcher, he threw the knuckleball, but we called it the thing. We didn't want the league to know or people to know it was a knuckleball, so everybody around the league thought it was kind of an odd split finger, and he threw it very, very hard. So his natural knuckleball is the hard one, so that doesn't amaze me at all. It amazes me how he's been able to now throw it from 70 all the way up to 83.
Alex Rodriguez takes a little up and in, ball 1. A-Rod hitting .265 with a dozen homers. Swing and a miss, and look at the late diving action on that one.
Well, he's actually to a point where he is trying to throw at the right height. So he has high ball hitter, low ball hitter in his mind. He has hard knuckleball or slow knuckleball in his mind. So he's actually out there thinking like a conventional pitcher. He's not just saying, okay, here comes the knuckleball, hope it's a strike, hope it doesn't have any rotation, hope it moves. He's actually pitching with it.
A-Rod smiling from the seat of his pants.
He even knocks people down with it. That is as conventional as you get.
You don't see the brushback knuckler as much as you used to.
And every big league hitter can get out of the way of a 70-mile-an-hour, 73-mile-an-hour pitch. But when it's at your head, you lose that dimension in it.
That would have left a mark.
Yeah, it would have.
Two. Got him. 9 pitches, 3 up, 3 down to go the Yankees against Dickey in the top of the first. Taco Bell. Sometimes you've got to live Moss. And in part by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. Welcome back to Citi Field. We go to the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Yankees and the Mets. Terry Collins gives us this lineup tonight for the Mets. It is presented, as always, by Taco Bell. This is the 4th highest scoring team in the National League, and they welcome back their shortstop, Ruben Tejada, on the DL the last 6 weeks with a quad injury. One of the reasons they're scoring a lot of runs, David Wright, 2nd in the National League in batting behind only Joey Votto, and a guy who tears it up against lefties, Scott Hairston. Getting in the cleanup spot, doing a great job against left-handed pitching this year, and they will face one of the best lefties in baseball in CC Sabathia, who pumps in a first pitch strike to Andres Torres. Sabathia, durable, deep into games, looking for his 10th win of the season. A remarkable 68-26 as a member of the Yankees. And he's quickly out in front on Torres, 0-2. Torres hitting just .207 on the season. He's the Met center fielder. And he jacks a pitch down the left field line. Pretty well struck, but just foul deep into the corner. The Mets won on Friday night. The Yankees came back last night to even up the series, as we have an early souvenir and some happy customers here at Citi Field. Again, the 0-2. And the off-speed pitch is fouled off.
79 miles an hour, you're going to see that it's going to look like a slider to most people, even sometimes like a small curveball, but it is called a cutter by CC, and I think he calls it that even though it's a slider break, just so he doesn't come around it, spin it too much. He feels like it's tighter and more deceptive the smaller it is. Smaller break so that it is later. Once it starts to get big and he comes around it, and he thinks mentally if he calls it a slider, it gets too big and it breaks out of his hand earlier, which the hitter then reads earlier, and it's easier to hit.
This is up and away with a fastball. The count even at 2-2. A big winner wherever he's been throughout his entire career. He's got 185 wins already, and he's 31. He should have a lot of good years left in him. Little high. And a ground ball to short, scooped up by Jeter, 1 down. Defensively for the Yankees tonight, Brett Gardner's still out with the elbow injury, at least a couple of weeks away. Raul Ibanez getting a lot of playing time in the outfield for the Yankees this season. Mark Teixeira, a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner. He's at first base along with the other usual infielders, Rodriguez, Jeter, and Cano. And Chris Stewart is catching CC Sabathia for the 13th consecutive time. Although Joe Girardi says this is not an official personal catcher type of situation. Russell Martin, by the way, left last night's game with some stiffness in his back. Stewart is in there again tonight, catching Sabathia. Ruben Tejada, the batter. Tejada hitting .305, just back tonight, as we mentioned, from the DL. A quad injury cost him 6 weeks. And Terry, the Mets have used 6 different players at shortstop so far this season.
And getting Tejada back is going to be big for them, especially against left-handers. Hitting over 400. Not a big run producer, but can run a little bit. That's what Terry Collins talked about. Wanted to let him get his legs back so when he came back, he could play his style of game.
David Wright waiting on deck for the Mets. One and two.
Don't think that all this R.A. Dickey talk has probably got past CC Sabathia. I mean, this is a guy that may start, maybe making a bid to start the All-Star game. And he's been good for a long time, and he's proud. What he did in Milwaukee a few years ago when he started on short rest, when he was a big free agent, I think that sold him to every ball club in the game.
And did it, 3 times in a row in the regular season just to get Milwaukee into the postseason.
Yeah, he turned himself into the most popular teammate for life.
Yep.
He's a big man with a big heart. He has a big presence in the clubhouse, and he takes winning and losing very, very seriously, no matter how much money he makes. And he's a joy to be around.
2-2, and it's fouled off by Tejada. And one thing that Sabathia always has been is a horse. He has thrown more innings than any other pitcher in baseball since 2007. He was neck and neck with Halladay. Halladay's on the DL right now, of course. And when you consider all the postseason innings, you can see why Sabathia is so far ahead of his nearest competitors.
And I don't think people realize how good he actually commands. For the most part, that fastball, he looks like a big, strong, hard thrower, which he is, but he has such a nice feel for his pitches that when he's commanding that two-seamer down and away on his arm side, he's so tough.
Got him. 2 down.
And he's going to challenge him here. He doesn't want to walk you. That ball is belt high down the middle, and it's just past him. And he has the ability, as he gets into the game, to start throwing his changeup, especially to righties, and then he really gets in a rhythm when he does that.
2 outs in the inning, but he's had to throw 15 pitches to get them. And here's David Wright hitting .357. Breaking ball for a strike.
Back when I was with the Red Sox, one of the ways we thought we could maybe beat Sabathia was make him have long innings and get him out of the game. Just don't let him go deep into the game.
You can see Wright on a 13-game hitting streak. Can't catch up to the high fastball, and quickly it's 0-2. And Wright lines one into center field, a base hit to extend the hitting streak to a 14-gamer.
CC went through a little slump here about 3 starts ago, and he was starting to fall off his two-seam fastball we talked about. But it looks like he's made an adjustment with his plant foot. At the beginning of his delivery, he actually starts with his foot turned so that he doesn't have to be conventional and have his toes straight towards home plate and then turn his foot and hit a special spot. When he gets back into his windup in the next inning, we're going to see the fact of how he has his foot on the rubber that's really cut down a movement. That movement right there from the stretch is easy. But from the windup, those are moving around. You want to be consistent.
Now Scott Hairston, the left fielder.
And this is an interesting matchup. Scott Hairston is so dangerous against left-hand pitching. And you got Lucas Duda, who's a very good hitter, but a left-hander behind him. Going to be interesting to see how much respect Sabathia gives Hairston.
Hairston hitting .270 overall as Wright draws a throw. But Hairston hitting .342 with power against lefties. 7 home runs, 7 doubles in just 79 at-bats against left-handed pitching this year.
And this is why he's on their team.
One ball, one strike. All right, Dickey got the Yankees quickly. 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Now looking on as his team tries to give him an early lead. A scoreless streak, or the streak without an earned run, now at 43 2/3 for Dickey. Pitch in the dirt, ball 2. Dickey will face Robinson Cano, the cleanup hitter for the Yankees, when they come up in the top of the second. Right now the Mets try to do what they do as well as anybody, and that's score with 2 outs. They have been a very opportunistic team this year. As Wright draws another throw. We talked about it, Terry, the last time we saw the Mets. The numbers don't add up. They seem to be doing better than you think they would do. One of the reasons, they've done a great job, as you can see there at the bottom of your screen, driving in those clutch 2-out runs.
They sure have. And again, they've.
There goes the runner, swing and a miss, throw down on a bounce and into center field, and Wright is back to his feet and on his way to third.
And just as we're talking about it, with 2 outs, they're making things happen. They get a lot of 2-out hits. Like you said, their numbers don't add up to their record right now, but you can't take it away from them. I mean, they play the game right. And I'd be very surprised if Hairston gets a good pitch to hit right here.
Stolen a base and an error charge to the catcher Stewart. Runner at third, 2 down, 2-2 to Hairston. Did he go? Yes, he did. And the throw down to first to end the inning. So the Mets are gone. Sabathia gets out of it. Dickey back to the mound. Cano due to lead it off when we come back. Here at Citi Field, the home of the Mets, the rubber match of this 3-game series, the Subway Series. The Yankees and Mets, Robinson to Cano to lead it off against R.A. Dickey. And a strike over the outside corner to Cano. Dickey getting the Yankees in order in the top of the first, now 43 2/3 since he has allowed an earned run. Cano with a drive to left field, but shy of the track. Hairston is there. This streak now for Dickey, 43 2/3 since allowing an earned run, is the longest streak of its kind since Orel Hershiser had his legendary, historic, and still at the top of the mountain 59 inning scoreless streak. Now again, Dickey has given up one unearned run in the streak as Teixeira steps in, but this is the longest streak, scoreless streak. I shouldn't say scoreless. The longest streak without allowing an earned run since Orel's back in 1988. What do you remember, Orel, when you're into the 40s and 50s and you know Drysdale is out there? How much were you thinking about it?
You really can't think about it. You really just try and get another guy out. You know you're hot. You know you've been winning and not giving up any runs, but you're not sitting there concentrating on a streak. And when we sat down and talked to R.A. yesterday, he talked about committing to 110 pitches, and each one as much as every pitch was its own game. And that's the commitment he has to it. And get a little tunnel vision, you get on a roll, and you try and stay there as long as you can.
Now, we were wondering about Mark Teixeira. Some switch hitters, Tito, come up and bat right-handed against a right-handed knuckleball pitcher, but Teixeira is up there from the left side.
Yeah, Mark Teixeira used to hit right-handed against Tim Wakefield, but again, Wake was so much tougher against left-handers, and R.A.'s numbers are drastically different. He's tougher on right-hand hitters.
Big shift is on against Teixeira. And he pulls one weakly down to first. Dickey over to cover and cannot make the play. Mishandles the throw, and Teixeira is safe.
I'm really surprised that Justin Turner didn't charge this ball and then just take it himself. They should have gotten it out anyway, but he could have just kept coming. And instead, just a real quick flip, and it was done nonchalant. That's why you got some boos here. You just keep coming through it and just run up. That's the hardest part for a pitcher, when the ball and the base are there at the same time, but still both professionals should have executed that play.
And the error is charged to Dickey. So Teixeira aboard with one out in the second. And here's Nick Swisher, another switch hitter, but he'll also bat from the left side. Incredible late movement on that knuckleball. And some of them, Tito, seem to move down and into a lefty. Some seem to move down and away, and some seem to more just sweep across the plate.
Yeah, there's so much interest in R.A. Dickey. I called Tim Wakefield a couple days ago. I wanted to get his opinion. And he marveled at the arm strength that Dickey's showing. I mean, he couldn't fathom a guy throwing a ball, holding like a knuckleball, and throwing it 80 miles an hour. He just said, it's a joke. And the fact that he gets to move as much as he does, and he throws it for strikes, he's got it all going.
A strike, and it gets past Tolley. It'll be a pass ball, and Teixeira up to second. That will be the 10th passed ball that has been charged to a Met catcher with Dickey on the mound this season.
Well, this ball's right down the middle, and R.A. will tell you 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn is an outstanding knuckleball that'll be very hard for him to control, and also it's going to move drastically at the end, and that's what it did.
Little high, ball 3.
The bad knuckleball has about one full rotation, will move, but usually moves off the bat very well because it doesn't move enough to fool the hitter. They're looking for about a half a rotation or under.
Way up and in as he walks him. And the Yankees on an error, a pass ball, and a walk have runners at first and second with one out.
Dan, Terry, so much has been said about R.A. Dickey really accomplishing conventional things with an unconventional pitch. And this is more a typical knuckleball pitcher's inning, when you have, the The misfielding, maybe not, but then after that, a strike that turns out to be a pass ball, a walk, and all of a sudden you're on that fasten your seatbelt as a manager.
2 on, 1 out, and Raul Ibanez is the batter as he takes up and away ball 1.
I used to tease Tim Wakefield. I said, Wake, I'm going to put my seatbelt on, and in the 6th or 7th inning, I'm going to undo it and come out and get you. And pretty good chance we'll have a chance to win. But so many quirky things would happen.
And now Dickey has lost his command.
So much about feel. And it's how it feels in your hand. It's how the humidity is, how much wind is there. But Ari really, all the things that he is in control of, he feels like he can repeat.
And a base hit into right field. Teixeira will get held. He's about 40 feet up the line and had to scamper back to third. The throw came home on the fly, and Teixeira back to the safety of third base.
And I thought he was sending him all the way. I was looking at second base to see if the runner is going to go to third, because I thought it was a done deal that he was going to score. Let's see what we got here. It looks like he's going all the way. It's a late stop sign. They're probably fortunate that the runner at second didn't end up going to third, and they'd really have a problem.
So the bases are loaded with 1 out for Chris Stewart.
And now playing National League style of baseball, you got a catcher, your backup catcher hitting 8th, and you got your pitcher hitting 9th. He's got a chance to get out of this.
And look at how shallow the outfield is, because they know how exceptional RA's knuckleball is, how weakly the ball gets hit.
Pops him up. Infield fly rule in effect. 2 down. And if you're wondering, because of the error in the inning, that should have been the 3rd out. So even if the Yankees score a run here, it would be an unearned run. And yes, to answer a question some people may have, even an error on the pitcher, it's considered an error. It doesn't count against the pitcher's earned run statistics. So for Dickey, the streak of not allowing an earned run will continue through this inning. CC Sabathia doesn't care about that. He just wants to get up there and have a hack at it, because he loves to hit. Smokes one down to third. Wright wins the race, and the Yankees leave the bases loaded in the 2nd. as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Subway Series, the Yankees and Mets. We've got a lot of excitement already in this game here tonight. R.A. Dickey and C.C. Sabathia on the mound. We go to the bottom of the second. Sabathia will face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Lucas Duda, Justin Turner, and Ronnie Cedeno. A tough matchup for the left-hand hitting Duda, the right fielder who leads the Mets in home runs with 11, giving them some very good production. You got a lot of guys filling in, doing the job, maybe overachieving a little bit, certainly meeting expectations. A team that was almost universally picked preseason to be bad. 90+ losses, last in the division. And here they are, 39-33, second place in the National League East, just 3 back of the division leading Nationals. Good breaking ball in for a strike.
You know, and Terry Collins spoke today. He said, coming out of spring training, he goes, I didn't feel like we were that last place team. He goes, you look, you know, if guys just have average years and do what they can do, we're going to be okay.
Hit sharply into right field, a leadoff base hit for Duda. More Major League action that comes your way beginning tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. You'll see the Yankees again as they host the Cleveland Indians. And then Wednesday night at 8 Eastern here on ESPN, it'll be the Detroit Tigers and the Texas Rangers. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA, and Wednesday Night Baseball on the ESPN family of networks. Both games also available on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. The Indians, by the way, now a half game behind the White Sox. The White Sox reclaimed the lead in the American League Central today with an extra innings win over Milwaukee, while the Indians lost to Houston. Duda aboard. Here's Turner. And a strike over the inside corner. Boy, that's a lot of movement on a 91-mile-an-hour pitch. That's that pitch that Sabathia calls a cutter, but everybody else says is a slider. There's a lot of juice in it.
There's not one scout, there's not one hitting coach, there's not one hitter that doesn't call it a slider. CC's the only one that calls it a cutter in all of baseball. It's just a mental cue for him.
1-1 to Turner with swing and a bouncer foul. Let's go down to the field to Buster Olney with more on Sabathia.
Guys, in the last 2 months of last season, CC Sabathia put on a whole lot of weight, and when the year was over, even before he agreed to a contract extension, he went to the Yankees and said, look, I have to do a better job of maintaining my weight during the season, and he's done that so far this year. He told me yesterday he really feels like that he's able to pitch deeper into the games with more energy than he did last year.
Listed at 6'7", 290, and has been one of the most durable pitchers even at that weight. There's a swing and a roller out to second, and the Yankees will turn 2. That'll help Sabathia, who's already got a lot of pitches thrown. 31 now through an inning and 2/3. Big double play, 2 outs, nobody on. Will bring up the second baseman, Ronnie Cedeno.
As we can see early on, whichever team makes a mistake first, that's why I'm a little surprised they didn't send Teixeira, just because it's hard to drive in runs against Dickey. And I know the play would have been close, and it's easy to look back after a guy pops up, but that was your chance to score.
And it's early. Take some risks.
Off the end of the bat, 0-2. R.A. Dickey, as we mentioned, was with the Texas Rangers when Buck Showalter was the manager. Oral Hershiser was the pitching coach. And we'll talk more about this when he gets back on the mound. But Oral was among those who said if you want to have a chance at a big league career, you might want to try the knuckleball.
Yeah, he already had a big league career, but he was probably going to be like a AAA and a half pitcher. And I mean, up and down on the shuttle. Mark Connor, Dominic Cheedy, a great scout, John Hart, the general manager, Buck Showalter, myself. It was really a staff decision. And then Ari accepted the advice and went for it.
And it wasn't like he was an overnight success with the knuckleball.
No, he had a lot of difficulty. He was throwing it hard. You know, Tim Wakefield, Terry was saying, is amazed how hard he can throw it. Well, he had the pitch in Texas called the thing, and it was a secret around the league. We didn't tell him what he had, but it was a knuckleball. We told people it was a split finger if they asked about it. It was a hard knuckleball that had some tumbling action that really was an out pitch for him, a surprise pitch.
Up the middle and through for a base hit for Cedeno. Dickey moved on from Texas, wound up with Minnesota and Seattle, and really found his best success when he became a Met. 2 years ago, he had a .284 ERA. Last year, a .328 ERA. This year, he entered tonight with an ERA of 2 and 11 wins, and very possibly, Terry, we're looking at the starter in the All-Star game for the National League.
We might be looking at both of them.
Yeah.
And you're right. With Matt Cain, Steven Strasburg, I mean, he's right among the guys you're going to talk about, and whoever pitches better in the next couple weeks is going to start the game.
The thing about RA is if his rotation falls in the wrong place, he'll still be able to start it. He can come back on a day or 2 days rest.
Moves out to the on-deck circle. Josh Tolley is the batter. Little jam shot will drop into center field for a base hit. Cedeno on his way to third. And here come the Mets again, trying to put something together with 2 outs.
And even if the Mets don't score, getting Dickey out of the way aligns the next inning where they have Andres Torres leading off and they have their normal lineup, as opposed to giving CC the chance for a real easy inning.
And Ari's a pretty good hitter. Won't show in his average at 138, but he can put the ball in play, and he takes a lot of pride in swinging the bat.
In his career, he's hitting higher. He's a 188 career hitter. Runners at first and third, 2 down. Dickey facing Sabathia. And a curveball misses outside, ball 1. Got a little respect there from Sabathia not to just throw him a fastball on the first pitch.
For sure. You don't want to throw that first pitch fastball cookie just because it's a pitcher. You want to throw your out pitches here with a runner on third and 2 outs. And you know he's going to be stingy with giving up runs.
A ball and a strike.
I was just going to say, if R.A. Dickey gets a hit here, the best chance he has is of waffling one between the first and second baseman, swinging late on that fastball and hitting a little liner to right.
I'm really surprised Mark Teixeira is holding on there at first base, because they don't want to run into an out with a stolen base, and CC will make holding close by his own motion being a left-hander. So I'd get off that bag if I was Tex.
Grounder to short. Big hop for Jeter. And the inning is over. A couple of men left on. We're scoreless at the end of 2. Jeter will lead it off against Dickey when we come back. And a Baseball Tonight update is on the way as well. score top 3. Tito, how about some reaction from you, a guy who managed Youkilis for so many years?
You know what? On one hand, it was probably time for him to go. I mean, the Red Sox needed to be committed to Will Middlebrooks. He's a good young player, and he's proved that he's going to be a guy they can build around. But saying that, the White Sox are going to get more from Kevin Youkilis than the Red Sox did so far. If Youkilis healthy, and he says he is, he grinds out at bats as good as anybody in baseball, and you can hit him second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. He hits left-handers, he hits right-handers. It's a big pickup for White Sox, who have got no production at third base.
And the White Sox right in the hunt of the American League Central, a half game ahead of the Indians. Jeter grounded out back to the mound of the first pitch he saw from Dickey in the first inning. Little off the plate, a ball and a strike. Jeter, the American League leader in hits with 92. He has 3,180 hits in his career. That is 15th on the all-time list. He is 5 away from passing Cal Ripken for 14th.
I don't think the odds are real long that he has a shot at Pete Rose at the top. The way he keeps himself healthy, the character that he shows day in and day out, and the adjustments he's made to continue the success.
He will not add to his totals here.
When you throw a ball up to Derek Jeter and he doesn't hit it, you know that ball's doing something crazy.
And that one wasn't a real good one as far as movement. That had a lot of spin on it for a knuckleball.
Here's Granderson. There's been a lot of mumbling going back to the opposing dugout in R.A. Dickey starts this year. A lot of head shaking and eye rolling. And
what's so amazing, there's a lot of amazing things what R.A. Dickey's doing now. But as a knuckleball pitcher, if you let a couple float up there, all of a sudden they leave the ballpark in a hurry. He doesn't do that.
He pitches with his average knuckleball 75, 76 miles an hour, and the average ones range from 75 to about 80. He can change speeds up to 83, and then he can come all the way down to 70. That's a fastball away, 3-0. He just missed 85 miles an hour.
So a 1-out walk. Dickey facing Alex Rodriguez now, and if you weren't with us in the first inning, this is what happened. A pitch up and in that drops Alex Rodriguez to the seat of his pants, but he knows it was a knuckleball that just moved wildly in, and Dickey actually apologized. You can see him saying sorry to A-Rod, and A-Rod wasn't upset. I mean, it's tough to hit, it's tough to catch, it's tough to throw, it's tough to call, it's tough to everything, right? It's a very unpredictable pitch for everybody involved.
Of all the accolades we're giving R.A. Dickey tonight, the one thing he does also is he controls the running game. And see if they try to do something just to make something happen.
Time, guys, they tell us at 1.1 seconds to the plate. Very fast. But as everybody's discussed, including Joe Girardi, a former catcher, it's really even more. It's not quite that fast because the catcher can't jump out to get the ball to start the throw. You've got to sit back and let that knuckleball come to you because there's so much late movement.
R.A. has picked a few people off this year. He's got very quick feet and a good move over there. As far as coming to the plate, 1.1 is exceptionally fast, and they feel like at 1.1 R.A., but since the catcher has to stay back totally, that's about a 1.3 or a 1.4 as far as total what's really happening. So you really still have to send somebody who's a base stealer. You can't just send everybody.
You know, we're watching Alex swing right now. When he's locked in and he feels good about himself, he gets that back foot. He gets some leverage on that back leg, and he gets up on that back foot. And sometimes he seems to get flat-footed, and he can't get his legs into his swing. And it looked like that in the last two pitches, where that back foot is almost anchored to the ground.
Struck out his first time up. Runner at first, 1 out, no score in the top of the 3rd. And in the hole 0-2. Weakly hit up the third baseline. Charged by right. Not in time. It'll be an infield hit for Rodriguez.
And this is all David Wright can do. That's as good a play as you're going to see by a third baseman. It had too much time on the grass. You can't defend that right there.
It's a perfect swinging bunt.
So the Yankees threatening with runners at first and second, 1 out. Dickey's streak of not allowing an earned run at the moment is at 44 2/3. You do not count partial parts of an inning, individual outs within an inning. This is according to Elias, the official statistician of Major League Baseball. So the streak is the 42 2/3 plus 2 innings tonight. 44 2/3 innings since he has allowed an earned run. And not even an appeal. Brian Runge says he's got it right at home plate. So it's 2-0 on Robinson Cano. Meanwhile, for the Yankees, the biggest problem they've had offensively this year is hitting very poorly with runners in scoring position. And the guy who's been the worst offender is Robinson Cano. The team's at 217. Cano's at 141.
And we've gone over these numbers. We're doing it in our production meeting. We've been talking about it this week. I don't understand this one. This guy, to me, is as good a hitter as there is in the big leagues. And for him, I always thought if you made a mistake, he'd kill you. And if you didn't make a mistake, you'd get a hit. For him to have these numbers with runners on base, I don't get it.
Lays off, ball 3. To grossly oversimplify the Yankee offense this year. When they hit home runs, they win. When they don't, they lose. It's not quite that simple, but they rely on the home run more than any team in baseball. Joe Girardi says, I don't care how we score them as long as we score more than the other team. But over 52% of their runs have come on homers. That's by far the highest percentage in baseball. On the appeal, he did not go. That's ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
And you know what? If I was Joe Girardi, I'd say the same thing. But the good news is they hit a lot of home runs. The bad news is as you get towards playoff time, it's hard to win that way. And they know that.
So the bases are loaded with 1 out, and the streak is in some serious jeopardy right now. The batter is Mark Teixeira. And Teixeira drives the ball to right field. Duda's going to make the catch. Granderson will tag and come in to score, and that is the end of R.A. Dickey's streak of not allowing an earned run. The Yankees lead 1-0. And again, our understanding from Elias is that this inning does not count at all. You can't even give Dickey credit for the out he got in this inning before the streak. You must not allow a run in the inning for the inning to count. So it's 44 2/3 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run, going back to May the 22nd. Now the Yankee fans are energized here at Citi Field. They've got the lead.
And now we go from talking about R.A. Dickey in the record books to stopping the bleeding and making sure this is a 1-run inning.
Nick Swisher takes a strike. Swisher walked his first time. Uncharacteristically, Dickey has walked 3 in this game. Oral, he'd only walked 5 in his last 6 starts total.
His strikeout to walk ratio was off the charts. The last 2 starts, 13 and 12 strikeouts. No wild pitches, no attempted, no stolen bases throughout the whole year.
2-1. Curtis Granderson, who walked and came around to score on the sac fly by Mark Teixeira. Getting an earful from Andrew Jones right now in the Yankee dugout. And a high drive, well hit. Deep right center. Gone! And Nick Swisher had an ear-to-ear grin all the way around the bases. A 3-run shot to right center, 4-0. The Yankees lead Dickey and the Mets.
You think Swish enjoys himself?
In the last 70 innings that Dickey had pitched, he'd only given up 1 home run. Now, what's Terry Collins want, Gito?
I think he thinks there was possible foul tip.
Brian Runge looked down to third to Tim McClellan to see if he had anything to add.
Oh, yeah.
Sure
right.
was.
Definitely was a foul
sure
tip.
was a foul tip.
But it's missed on the field, so the count now 2-0 after that next pitch. The batter was Raul Ibanez. The Yankees break through against R.A. Dickey.
I tell you what, there's a saying in baseball that says if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go. And Nick Swisher got a knuckleball that was up, and he's still. This knuckleball is up. A lot of times when they're up, they don't move very much. It's easier for the hitter to see. And you see that ball was almost like a backup, like a little sinker. It doesn't sink. It just stays there on the plane of the bat. Where Nick Swisher saw it last, it stayed, and he squared it up.
I remember Mark Teixeira saying to Buster Olney in the pregame interview, swing hard in case you hit it. And that's what Swisher did. He hit it a long way to deep right center. 4-0 Yankees. And a pop-up in foul territory, first base side. Totally there to end the inning. But it's an inning unlike R.A. Dickey has seen in a long, long time. The Yankees with 4. National League captain. Robinson Cano is the American League captain. The Yankees up 4-0. As we go to the bottom of the third here at Citi Field, Nick Swisher with a 3-run home run for the Yankees after Mark Teixeira had driven in a run on a sac fly. And they have broken through against R.A. Dickey. A lead for CC Sabathia. As we go to the bottom of the third, Andres Torres leads it off for the Mets. Sabathia has given up 4 hits through 2 innings, but the Mets have not been able to push a run across. And a strike at the knees. Sabathia signed with the Yankees through 2016. So 4 more years after this one. And again, just 31 years of age. He was up in the big leagues at the age of 20. So he's been able to put up some incredible career numbers for a guy who figures to have, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of good years left. And he's been a very durable pitcher. In his 3 years with the Yankees coming into this season, he's won 19, 21, and 19. He's got 9 wins already this year, and we're still in June.
He's very good at making adjustments too. Even when he's battling himself on the days where he thinks he's bad and knows he needs to make adjustments, he still finds a way to go 7, give up 4 or less.
Hit hard but foul down the left field line. So CC Sabathia in pretty select company. The most wins before your 32nd birthday since 1961. Catfish Hunter, Don Drysdale, Jim Palmer. And then Fergie Jenkins, Juan Marichal, and then Sabathia. 185 wins already at 31 years of age. This is up and in 3-2. There's been a feeling for a few years, guys, that we may have seen the last of the 300-game winners now that 5-man rotations used to be 4 going back a generation or so, and pitchers don't pitch as deep into games as they used to, so they might leave some decisions on the table every now and again. It's high ball 4. What do you think his chances are, guys, as you look at Sabathia, who's consistently winning 18-20 wins a season in his career, averaging 16 wins per year? What do you think his chances are at 300?
Well, 8 years at 15 is another 120. That puts him at 305. So I think he's got a very good chance. You look at him, he's probably going to play for a high-quality ball club, even if he drops to the third or fourth starter late into his 30s, even his early 40s. If it's with the Yankees, they're going to score him some runs. They're going to have quality teammates, and it's all going to be about his health, I think.
And I think the easy thing to do is say no, because winning 300 is so hard. But if anybody can do it.
Runner goes, throw down, skips through Cano into center field. Tejada back to his feet and on his way to third. The second time we have seen that sequence already tonight.
And Torres is running, and he's out. He's dead to rights. And that's, I mean, you give them some points for being aggressive. They're down 4, but they're not going to stop running. But he's out.
I'll tell you what,
and
Chris Stewart's
Cano
release
just didn't get his glove down.
He laid it.
I mean, he's out by 3 feet.
And I beg your pardon, I called Torres Tejada. Tejada the hitter. Torres is now at third. The scoring on the play, stolen a base, E2. Throwing error charged to the catcher. Tough error for Chris Stewart.
It's terrible to throw to Chris Stewart. This is unbelievable release. The speed he gets rid of this ball, the accuracy down there, and for him to get that error.
To left field that will be caught by Ibanez, tagging and scoring easily Torres, and the Mets are on the board.
But instead of 2 outs and nobody on and a 4-run lead, you got 1 out. You've cut into the deficit. At least you've made some noise. You're making CC throw more pitches.
Life back in the ballpark, and David Wright coming to the plate. In the first inning, extended his hitting streak to 14 games with a base hit into center. Contending for the National League batting lead right now. Second in the league in on-base percentage. And leading all National League third basemen in all-star votes. A few 100,000 ahead of Pablo Sandoval. A bounce back year for Wright, who hit a career low 254 last year. Off the end of the bat to shallow right field. 2 down. All right, Dickey lamenting the top half of this inning when the Yankees got 4, 3 of them on the home run by Swisher. Citi Field, which has had some big crowds this weekend, over 40,000 Friday night, over 42,000 last night, the biggest crowd they've had in this ballpark. They love the Subway Series in this town. Scott Hairston, the batter, and a strike.
Probably making the understatement of the year if we say this is where interleague works. I mean, they just eat it up. There's constant noise in this ballpark, regardless of who's hitting or who's out playing the field.
Jeter just in time to end the inning. The Mets get 1. Split allegiances here at Citi Field tonight. Monday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell from the AL/NL Showdown presented by State Farm. Top of the 4th inning and a 4-1 lead for the Yankees. The big hit, the 3-run home run by Nick Swisher last inning off R.A. Dickey. The streak without an earned run over at 44 2/3. Chris Stewart, the catcher, leads it off and hits a fly ball to left field. Hairston back, 1 down. R.A. Dickey, originally a first-round pick by Texas back in 1996, but up and down for the minors, never really established himself. As Earl discussed before, they advised him to start throwing the knuckleball in 2005. He gave up 6 home runs in his first start back in the big leagues as a knuckleballer. Back down to the minors for a couple of years, some time with Minnesota, Seattle, Signed with the Mets in 2010, and until tonight had been virtually unhittable this year. Back-to-back one-hitters in his last 2 starts as Sabathia grounds out for the second out. Dickey is sicky. He has been this year until tonight with 11 wins and an ERA of 2 coming into this game. How about this, guys? Elias telling us that since 1900, no other pitcher ever had as many wins, as low an ERA, as many strikeouts, and as few walks ever as R.A. Dickey brought into this start tonight. Now the ERA's taken a little bit of a bruising so far tonight, thanks to Nick Swisher.
Well, since 2010, he has the 7th best ERA in the big leagues, R.A. Dickey. So it's not just these 14 starts. He's been pretty doggone good since he's been a Met.
Here's Jeter, 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout.
Can you build your staff around him?
I think he's an unbelievable number 2 or number 3 if at this pace, but I don't know about ace. You probably can, but 37 years old is the other thing.
I mean, just, kind of talking out loud here. I mean, he is 37. It's an unpredictable pitch.
It's tougher in April and in September, especially in New York with the weather. Because the cold and the wind and the rain, it's not as easy to get that feel.
And as we're talking about it, he's making a surefire Hall of Famer shake his head in the batter's box.
Threw him a fastball with it, shake his head.
Look at the movement on that one.
Well, that was 61, so he went fastball inside, and then he went back to the slowest knuckleball of the night at 61 miles an hour. He doesn't like to show the slow one an awful lot. He likes to use it as kind of his slow curveball, believe it or not. And he goes back to 79, so he was, 83, 84 fastball in, 61 slow knuckleball, and then back to the hard knuckleball at 79. 12 to 13 miles an hour change of speed is exceptional change of speed for a big league pitcher.
And a weak ground ball out to second. And a much better inning for Dickey as he gets the Yankees in order. 4-1 the Yankees lead going to the bottom of the 4th. Four to 1. Time now for FaceTime presented by Edward Jones. Buster Olney with Joe Girardi between innings.
Joe, tell me about the approach that you guys took tonight against Dickey. How do you think it's working?
Well, so far it's been pretty good. I think our hitters have taken their walks. We took advantage of an error, and we've tried to look for the ball up. Sometimes that's easier said than done when the ball's dancing all over the place. But, you get a sac fly by Tex and then a big home run by Swish.
Why has CC Sabathia gotten better as this season has gotten along?
Well, that's kind of who he's been his whole career. It seems like he gets stronger as the year goes on, and his stuff seems to get a little bit more crisp. And it seems like he's got a pretty good sinker tonight. He's getting some ground balls.
Joe, thanks.
And he's got a 3-run lead going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Lucas Duda leading it off. It'll be Duda, Justin Turner, Ronnie Cedeno coming up for the Mets, who are down 4-1. Duda had a base hit his first time up. How has Sabathia compensated over the last couple of years for some slightly diminished velocity?
Well, he's really worked hard on his 2-seamer. He used to be predominantly the 4-seam pitcher, and when he threw his 2-seamer, he more worried about tailing it. And now he's really actually trying to keep it down and sink it. And that's just it's a very smart adjustment. I mean, don't try and fit yourself always a square peg into a square hole. You can adapt to what your tools are giving you and what you're actually losing. And so his breaking ball is very important to him. The little changeup he throws, and now the 2-seamer low and away on the arm side to righties and into lefties. He's made another adjustment 2-3 starts ago. He's been falling off to third base, so now he starts with his foot almost semi-turned, so he doesn't have to turn it as much, and he can hit his spot a little bit more. Not the conventional toes forward and then turn your foot as most pitchers. He's just like quarter turning his foot to hit his hole.
Backhanded stop to Shera, and he'll win the race.
What that does for CC as far as his footwork is it makes him more consistent when he's in the windup. That way he doesn't build innings and give up base runners with hits or walks. And then he doesn't have to shift that big body, that mass, kind of weight to the back foot, turn the front foot, now bring the weight back to that plant foot. He's a little more stable over the rubber, more consistent.
Given up 4 hits. There have been 2 throwing errors committed by catcher Chris Stewart, although one of them should have been an error charge to Cano at second base. He's walked a batter. There have been 2 stolen bases, but he's only given up 1 run. And these are guys Joe Girardi, Tito told us before the game, even if he doesn't have his good stuff, he'll find a way to give up 4 or less, is what Girardi said. He'll find a way to keep you in the game, go deep into the game, and have a chance to win it.
I mean, it's all, I don't mean it demeaning by calling him a grinder, because he's one of the stars of our game. But he'll grind it out, and he will not give in. Even when he doesn't have his real good stuff, he finds a way to stay out there long enough to get a win.
Down the right field line, Swisher almost overran it. Reaches back and makes the grab for out number 2.
That's a grinder out there too. He loves to play, but don't let the smile make you think he is not busting his tail out there and concentrating. Ball comes back on him. Almost a snow cone.
That's not a good feeling there for a minute.
Glad the leather on the end of that glove is not a little looser and more flexible. Got to tighten the laces.
As you guys said, nobody has more fun being a big leaguer than Nick Swisher. There's Ronnie Cedeno with 2 down.
Terry, the Yankees can always afford great players, and I think so the Red Sox that you managed. But the key is, I think, is getting blue collar stars. Guys that once they get the big money, the production, they come to the big town, and you're expected. The guys who are the grinders.
The guys that'll be accountable, through thick and thin. I mean, again, going back to the George Steinbrenner years, that he wanted the stars, but when he got the stars, they better produce.
Paul O'Neill, Scott Brocious came over here as a blue collar guy. Bernie Williams, CC Sabathia, Derek Jeter.
Yeah, winners.
Just winners that grind it out daily on a professional level, that they apply themselves no matter if they've already made the money or not. They're guaranteed another 5 to 7 years of huge money, but they take a lot of pride in what they do every day. And your Pedroia, Euclid that just got traded. I'm sure you had other guys you could mention.
It's a great point, because in baseball, because the contracts are guaranteed, you're giving out a lot of money, and if you give it out to the wrong person, we had our fights with Manning. They're well documented. He didn't want to always play. When he did, it was good, but what are you going to do? You can't find a guy $1,000. It's making $20 million.
Jeter up with it and on to first to get Cedeno and end the inning. 4 in the books at Citi Field. Yankees 4, Mets 1. Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney, R.A. Dickey on the mound, but trailing 4-1 as he starts Curtis Granderson with a strike here in the 5th. Granderson has grounded out and walked and scored. It was Granderson scoring that snapped the streak. Ooh, so he gets hit by a pitch. Granderson scoring that snapped the streak without an earned run for Dickey at 44 2/3 innings. Granderson grimacing as he makes his way down to first. You can see it was a knuckleball, but it hit him right near the wrist, on the forearm, maybe close to the wrist, Tito.
It hit him right on the top there. And again, the ball's bouncing all over the place. You don't really know to get out of the way. I mean, he almost started to swing at that.
So Dickey's command, not what it has been recently. He's walked 3 tonight, hit 1. Here's Alex Rodriguez. By the way, got a question on Twitter. If you only get credit for complete scoreless innings, how can the streak be 44 2/3? The answer is this, to try to clear it up a little bit. If you give up a run in an inning, you don't get credit for any of that inning. You don't get credit for 1 or 2 outs you may have gotten in that inning. But let's say you go 7 1/3. You get lifted in the 8th inning after 1 out, and you don't give up any runs in that 8th inning, then you get credit for the 3rd of an inning. It's only in an inning in which you give up a run that you don't get credit for any of it. And twice in this streak, it's now over. Dickey went 7 1/3 and didn't give up any runs. So that's why he ends up with a streak at 44 2/3. The man sitting about 4 feet to my right, Oral, had a streak of 59 consecutive scoreless innings. Not even an unearned run scored in the streak. Runners on the way and in there without a throw. And Dickey's having a tough night. Tolley's having a bit of a tough night.
And that's an impossible ball to catch. I mean, Josh Tolley did a good job of almost picking that ball. I mean, that's a 77-mile-an-hour knuckleball that hits about a foot in front of him, and he almost catches it.
And that is the first wild pitch charged to Dickey this season. There have been 10 passed balls charged to the catchers when he's been on the mound. That's the first wild pitch. Rodriguez chases and is gone. Third strikeout of the night for Dickey, and the second time it's been A-Rod. Frustration for Rodriguez as he makes his way back to the dugout. Runner at second, 1 out for Cano, who has flied out and walked and scored. Tolley, like all catchers who catch a knuckleballer, they've got a special glove. Mike Nikias has one as well.
It looks like a big first baseman's glove, really, with a little more padding. And the limp wrist technique also.
And how they set up. They open a leg almost towards the first base dugout. You don't see him do that with a conventional pitcher. He's just trying to, and again, I've heard Gary Tuck with the Red Sox talk about it so often. The limp wrist and opening up your stance a little bit. Watch his right open up there. I mean,
they almost look like a first baseman preparing for a ball being thrown by an infielder as far as the footwork. Kind of slightly open like that, getting ready to shift one way or the other. And they don't give a target.
I think they're just hoping to catch it.
Little looper into left field, dropping for a base hit. Granderson had to wait and see if it would fall, so he will advance 1 base to third on the single by Cano.
And Hairston did a really good job there of decoying, because Granderson was going to score fairly easily, and he had to throw on the brakes when Hairston threw up his hands like he was going to catch it. Watch Granderson. He's going, and then all of a sudden, just that little decoy there stops him from going. Right there. Again, you never know. It keeps the double play in order with Mark Teixeira hitting.
Teixeira had a sacrifice fly his last time up that scored the first run of the night for the Yankees. Also reached on an error back in the second inning. So officially 0 for 1. 4-1 Yankees, top 5 rubber match of the Subway Series.
And the Mets want to play a big shift, and for the most part they're shifting him from shortstop over, but David Wright can only get so far off. Part of that is because of the way R.A. Dickey is pitching. Any ball in the dirt, if he gets off too far, Granderson's going to stroll home. They can't just give it to him.
That's all they'll get. A wild, ill-advised throw. The run will score, and Teixeira is going to be awarded second base on the air. The throwing error on Tejada. So it is 5-1 for the Yankees as we send it down to Buster on the field.
Guys, before the game, Kevin Long, the Yankees hitting coach, made the point to me that among the amazing numbers for Dickey, one is that unlike a lot of knuckleballers, he actually gets more ground balls than fly balls. Long said that the Yankees' challenge was to get the ball into the air. And as he said, look, we have about 5 or 6 hitters who are naturally uppercut swingers. And the two we mentioned, Mark Teixeira and Nick Swisher.
Pretty good scouting report there by the hitting coach. Teixeira with a sac fly. Swisher, who's at bat right now, with a 3-run homer his last time up. Scoring on that last play, fielder's choice and an RBI for Teixeira and an error on Ruben Tejada, allowing Teixeira to take second. Dickey had allowed 1 home run in his last 70 2/3 innings prior to the home run from Nick Swisher. And is that, I mean, he got a swing and a miss there, Oral, but is the knuckleball spinning more tonight than ideally it should be?
Yeah, 1 full rotation. It looks like he really, when the ones that are up, he can make them kind of dance right to left, but most of them are just staying kind of straight and kind of spinning and a corkscrewing on him. Let's take a look and see. That ball's definitely rotating too much for RA, and that ball will be a lot straighter than he would like. In our interview, he said when it rotates like that, you can put your glove up and ask for another ball a lot of times.
Terry, did you find with Tim Wakefield, some nights it was unhittable and some nights he just didn't have it and there was no predicting which night it would be?
But the hard thing is that could happen during a game. I mean, he could go from inning to inning where he could be unhittable and then give up a wild pitch, a home run, and give up a 3 spot and then bounce right back and be unhittable again. That's why I felt if you lost patience, you wouldn't get the best out of Wake.
And Wakefield, boy, pitched forever.
And his numbers are in Red Sox history are legendary. But you have to learn as a manager, and I used this term before, put your seatbelt on and buckle up and just sit there, and because quirky things are going to happen.
And there have been some good ones. Phil Niekro, 300-game winner.
There's a movie coming out called Knuckleball. Phil Niekro, Tim Wakefield, and R.E. Dickey were actually followed for a whole season. And it's going to be an outstanding look behind the scenes, how the pitch actually affected these guys. They got together in Atlanta for a golf outing, and they've got a lot of how the pitch changed their lives, how the pitch changed baseball, and why so few do it so well. Charlie Huff used to say that the nights that he had his really, really good one weren't as good a night pitching result-wise because everybody either swung and missed or the catcher missed the ball. He wanted to have an average one. Those were the nights when he pitched really well. They could make contact, the catcher could catch the ball, and he got a lot more quick outs. But when you had the unbelievable one that nobody could catch and nobody could hit, it was really, really hard to be effective that night.
Stung, but right at the shortstop. And Tejada makes the play to end the inning. Another run for the Yankees in a 5-1 lead through 4.5. Taco Bell is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. With Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman, and we are underway here in the bottom of the fifth. CC Sabathia and the Yankees leading the Mets 5-1. Sabathia will face Josh Tolley, R.A. Dickey, and Andres Torres. He's given up a run on 4 hits through the first 4 innings. And the curveball is in there for a strike, 1-1.
The way CC gets back into the count with that, what he calls a cutter breaking ball, that makes him doubly tough to hit. Not only is his stuff good, but he throws it behind count.
Chop towards second. Big bounce for Cano. 1 down. One of the most heralded Grand Slam events gets underway tomorrow morning as the championships at Wimbledon come to ESPN2. The world's famous lawns await tennis's finest competition. The first round, some of the stars you'll see in action include Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Maria Sharapova, Venus Williams, and more. R.A. Dickey will bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Grounded out his first time up. And a strike from Sabathia.
I'm sure the whole knuckleball fraternity is watching tonight. Tim Wakefield, Phil Niekro, Charlie Huff, Tom Candiotti.
Base hit right field. Well, and some of those guys had a direct impact on Dickey, right?
Yeah, early on we got him hooked up with Charlie Huff, and that gave him encouragement that he could go forward. He threw a side work for Charlie in Anaheim, where Charlie lives in that area, and Charlie said, I think you really have a chance to do this. He then moved and talked to Tim Wakefield a lot, still talks to Tim an awful lot to this day. Phil Niekro really helped him with the lower half of his body, using his hips and getting that into the pitch. And they all talk all the time.
You ever mess around with it at all late in your career?
Well, coming back from my shoulder surgery, Tom Candiotti was on the team, and he taught me a lot about it. Yeah. I was thinking about it, but then when the shoulder came back, I'm like, okay, I don't need to learn the knuckleball anymore.
Good move.
Thanks.
Are there some guys, Oral, what allows one pitcher to excel with a knuckleball and most to not be able to throw?
I really think everybody in baseball has tried to throw one, and there are great ones by infielders and outfielders on every big league roster. But I think the real key is throwing it with the pressure and then throwing it down the hill. Being able to stabilize yourself enough and get your footwork done and your lower half to a point where you can take the spin off the baseball and throw it down a hill to a strike zone. And I think that is the main reason, and the knuckleballers would have a better answer than me, but in talking to them, that is one of the main reasons people can't do it.
But you make a good point. I don't think the average fan is aware of how often, when infielders and outfielders are just playing catch before the game, how often they mess around trying to throw a knuckleball.
There's one really good knuckleball on every team that's not a pitcher.
But I will say this, everybody, including myself, thought I had a really good one. When you played catch with Tim Wakefield, you didn't stand in front of it because he'd hurt you and he'd laugh at you.
During the baseball negotiations, during some of the labor disputes, Tim was on the negotiation committee, and I'd be the one volunteered to play catch with him, and it was an awful lot of fun.
Well, it seems for every knuckleballer, there's a different grip, too. And again, Oral, you've got firsthand knowledge of this. You've been teammates. You've worked with some knuckleballers.
Charlie Huff was a guy that I got to work out with, helped me with my own pitching mechanics, so how to stabilize my body and drive off when I was a young Dodger. Phil Niekro, absolutely amazing one. Timmy, you see where the thumb and the finger are, it's kind of split the equator of the ball, and then the baby finger is off the ball completely, and then the 2 fingers, and it's not thrown with the knuckles. It's really thrown with the fingernails and the tips of your fingers.
Two down in the inning. Dickey at first. 5-1 Yankees. And on the last pitch, they ruled it that Torres fouled the ball off and that it hit the dirt. So Torres is still up there. Joe Girardi came out to argue and said that ball didn't hit the dirt.
Well, I think he was going on Chris Stewart's reaction.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they're holding R.A. Dickey on first here.
I could see them
Did the Mets catch a break?
That ball hit the dirt
in a big way. Yeah.
And now the at-bat is over with a strikeout, 2 down. Well, we saw the grips from Phil Niekro and some of the other famous knuckleballers. This is the grip that R.A. Dickey uses.
See the fingernails that are in the skin of the ball, off the seams, and then the pressure between the two, the thumb and that third finger, and the pinky off the ball. And the fingernails are a big key of not getting one split or chipped, and the right length so they have enough strength and they don't bend, but not too short that you start to get a little blister on your skin, the tips of your skin. Before the game, he was starting to play catch. He was probably 10 minutes into playing catch, throwing some knuckleballs, and asked Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, do you have the file? And of course Dan had it in the back pocket, and just a couple strokes on the middle finger only, not the index finger.
Now, he didn't put that thing in his pocket, did he?
Nope. And then he went back to throwing him. He just had one nail he had to make a little adjustment on. Gave it back. The emery board has been returned.
Well, Sabathia's got it working right now.
You know that movie I mentioned to you guys about knuckleball? I've got copies coming to your house. It's coming out.
We appreciate that, Bulldog.
Yeah, independent film. They did a nice job on it. I got to see it.
Don't be afraid to send some artwork and some stuff too.
Terry needs a couch.
They're actually releasing it early because of RA's success. They're releasing it early, and it's good for all those guys. Phil Niekro, you know, what a pitcher, and Charlie Huff, and you know, they're a fun part of the game.
Yeah. Used to be, usually you'd have 3 or 4 guys at a time in the majors throwing the knuckleball. Dickey is it right now.
Steve Sparks.
Yeah. Dennis
do you have
Springer?
any more other than Wakefield? Do you have Sparky?
I had Steve Sparks with the Phillies just for a little while.
Yep.
Left center field and down for a base hit. Sahana aboard. And Dickey to second, 2 down.
And everybody asks, why aren't more people throwing it? It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
It's easy to make it move on the side or in the outfield, but when runners are trying to steal bases and you got hitters up there, it's just to have that repetition where anybody can throw one good one, but you got to throw 105 in a row.
And it's completely different mechanics than throwing a normal pitch, throwing a normal fastball, a slider, a curveball, changeup, and just, I don't want to get into the technical part of it, but just taking the spin off the ball, throwing it down a mound in a big league game, it's literally impossible. That's why very few are successful.
When I first went to Boston, I felt handcuffed with Wakefield because I didn't know what to tell him.
Meanwhile, here is David Wright. The Mets have 2 men on with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, trying to cut into the deficit a little bit. Wright has singled and flied out against Sabathia tonight.
And they're doing exactly what they needed to do. They're making him work. They're getting him deep into that pitch count. Obviously, they need to score runs, but they're building that pitch count up.
And a base hit through the left side. Dickey is getting the wave. And is safe as the ball scoots away from Stewart at the plate. And the Mets have made it 5-2.
David Wright's having a really good year, and he's made some adjustments. His stance is a little different. He's closer to the plate. He's able to get the ball, and the ball inside he's able to get. And R.A. makes a good turn right here, and with 2 outs, you're going. And even if you're the pitcher, get in there with some hard-nosed baseball, and he doesn't shy away from the contact, goes straight at Chris Stewart. Looked like a piano jumped on his back there about halfway down third. Get it right in the melon.
Chris Stewart gave 1 in the jaw just for all those knuckleballs.
Well, that's a big 2-out RBI to keep this game close by David Wright. And there's some contact right
Scott
there.
Hairston is as dangerous a hitter against left-handed pitchers as there is in the game. This is a huge sequence right here.
Another 2-out run for the Mets. They've scored more 2-out runs than any team in baseball this year. And the tying run is at the plate. Whistles one foul, third base side. The Mets, time after time, game after game this year, have found a way to scratch and claw and win games that you don't think they have any business being in. They're 6 games over 500. The starting pitching's been good. The clutch hitting has been good. Down and in.
Now, what's going to happen though is as this game gets into the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, both teams are going to get into their bullpen, and that's where the Mets are going to be at a severe disadvantage.
Their bullpen ERA is the worst in the National League, 5.30. The Yankees pen has done a very nice job this year. Bounced foul.
Scott Hairston in his first at bat struck out, check swing strikeout on a slider down, cutter down and in. Couldn't hold up. He laced the first pitch foul of this at bat. Totally and RA going over a little strategy.
Probably checking to see if he's alive.
The 2 fastball in from CC, then that breaking ball. I think down and in breaking ball is where he wants to get him out.
Sure did.
Well, he sped him up. You know, he got him out with the breaking ball in this game, and he said, okay, that's my out pitch, but I've got to get him off my out pitch. So he went with 2 fastballs right away in this count, then went to the out pitch.
Big numbers against lefties for Scott Hairston, as we mentioned. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 5th. Reaching for it, he hits one off the end of the bat, shallow center. Granderson there, and the inning is over. All right, Dickey back to the mound after scoring a run, got a base hit, and eventually came around to score despite a big collision at home plate. 5-2 Yankees. Baseball tonight after the break. Sixth inning, 5-2. Look out. Yankees over the Mets. Raul Ibanez bends back from an up and in knuckleball. R.A. Dickey certainly will be under consideration for the All-Star start if he continues to pitch well. Hasn't pitched well tonight, but putting up extraordinary numbers coming into the game. Steven Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez. Lance Lynn is in double figures in wins. Matt Cain having a big year. The guy who Dickey entered tonight tied with for the National League lead in ERA, unfortunately, is out for the season. Brandon Beachy of the Atlanta Braves. Yet another pitcher going down with an arm injury and done for the year.
And R.A. was second to Steven Strasburg in strikeouts.
Boy, Ibanez did a great job waiting on that one, and he lines it into right field. He's 2 for 3. He's had a lot of success in his career against Dickey. Let's check out National League news and notes right now. And as mentioned, Brandon Beachy, a big loss for the Atlanta Braves. Tommy John surgery done till the middle of the next season. The Rockies are going with a 4-man rotation, trying to keep everybody to about a 75 pitch limit. It has already created some unusual situations. And how about Andrew McCutchen? Red hot. The Pirates lost today to Justin Verlander and the Tigers, but Pittsburgh right there in contention of the National League Central right now. Chris Stewart, a little one-hopper out to second to the bag, one on to first in time.
And again, he throws the hard one, and he gets in on him. A little bit of a rough exchange there, but still not plenty of time, but they got him. And Terry Collins talked to us before the game, and the one thing he also used, besides the dominance, was that R.A. is an innings eater, and that's what he's doing right now. I mean, they have a chance to come back and win this game, but he's not getting them into the bullpen.
Here's Sabathia.
You know, the play backed up to second baseman Ronnie Cedeno. It gives him a good the feed takes him into left field.
And Sabathia will ground out again to end the inning. To the bottom of the sixth. Yankees 5, Mets 2.
People pass through Grand Central Terminal every day. They file into the concourse under the century-old Celestial mural. Scurry past the iconic four-phased clock. And rush down ornate corridors to crowded trains. Everyone going someplace different. Grand Central Terminal. Where the 4 and 7 lines meet is where the Subway Series begins.
Yankees and Mets wrapping up this series here tonight, the Subway Series at Citi Field. Tonight also the last night for interleague play. The Yankees lead this game 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning here in Flushing. As we take a look now at our ALNL Showdown update presented by State Farm, the American League, to the surprise of very few, is leading again. Pretty substantial margin, to 140 to 110. That includes the Tampa Bay sweep of the Phillies today in a doubleheader. Texas is up on Colorado in the 9th, and the Yankees are up in this game. So at the end of the Texas game in this one, interleague play will be done for the year. Lucas Duda leads it off with a fly ball to left field, 1 down. And again, next year it's going to be a whole lot different with interleague play going on throughout the entire season instead of virtually everybody taking part in it in a condensed part of the year. It's going to be a little bit different with some teams potentially playing interleague games on opening day or in the last week of the season. But with Houston moving to the American League West and an odd number of teams in each league, there's really no way around it.
And I don't think everybody fully understands it yet. I mean, again, they're focused on what's happening this year and the nuances of having the 2 new wild card teams. It's going to be different next year.
Here's Justin Turner, the first baseman. As Jason Stark had on .com a couple of weeks ago, it looks like the way it's going to be next year is 20 interleague games for every team, so even more than they play now. 4 of them against your natural rival, with 2 two-game series. So as an example, the natural rivalry part of the interleague schedule would be, say, Yankees at Mets Monday, Tuesday, Mets at Yankees Wednesday, Thursday, and then back to normal business Friday through Sunday. And most teams have a natural rival. Not every. Who does Colorado play? Does Seattle play San Diego? You know, you went through this, Terry, with Boston. Sometimes you'd play Atlanta. Sometimes you'd play Philadelphia. No true natural rival for some teams.
Our natural rival changed.
Yeah.
and for people in uniform, it bothers you because you want to play a balanced schedule. So if you're good enough, you're good enough.
Right.
Not worry, well, Atlanta's good this year or Philadelphia's
right.
good this year. It's kind of luck of the draw.
But the overall interleague schedule will be much more balanced. As an example, if the American League East plays the National League Central, everybody in the American League East will play everybody in the National League Central. The only difference will be those 4 natural rivalry games. So in that sense, it's better.
It's better. It's closer. And I'm sure Houston's just thrilled to be going from the National League Central to the American League.
Into a division with the Rangers and Angels. Ground ball to the right side, and Cano cannot come up with it. Boy, he's had a sloppy game tonight. He cost Stewart an error on a ball that should have been caught out at second base. Now he had to range quite a ways to his left, but we'll wait for the scoring on this play.
It's a little hop on him. Maybe he wasn't expecting right there before the seam, but that's a ball that Robinson Cano, if you ask him himself, he's going to say he should have had it.
And he's charged with an error.
Yeah, I mean, he routinely makes that play.
We have had 5 errors in this game, 3 committed by the Yankees and 2 by the Mets. Ronnie Cedeno.
And now the Mets have gotten to a point now where if they can get to the pitcher spot, they just about have to pinch hit.
A 100 pitches even. Right now for Sabathia. The bullpen is just getting up now for the Mets. And Sabathia misses outside, a ball and a strike. Veteran Miguel Batista is up in the pen right now for the Mets.
And the tough thing for the Mets is all their guys on the bench are left-handed, except for Mike Dickey, who's not going to pinch hit. So they're in a little bit of a bind.
Late on that, and it's 1-2. How about this, Oral? You talk about durability.
Well, not only is it able to throw 100, but effectively enough to stay out there for 100 also. So it's not only a landmark as far as how your endurance is, but your Just really a good job pitching in different types of situations and figuring out how to get through a game.
Soft liner into center, drops for a base hit for Cedeno. Turner up to second. Here come the Mets again.
And while I was talking about the Mets bench, I omitted Vinny Rottino, who's a right-hand hitter who is also on that bench that we'll very likely see come up and hit.
Little cutter, trying to ride that fastball inside. That's a true cutter right there that he was trying to really tight get it in there, and he jammed him. He just was able to make it touch the outfield grass for a hit.
Here's Josh Tolley. Rottino is out in the on-deck circle right now. Sabathia has only had one 3-up, 3-down inning tonight. And he likes throwing that curveball to Tolley.
Well, R.A.'s sitting there not getting ready to hit because he knows he's going to get hit for.
Another breaking ball, 0-2. Doesn't look like any fun, Terry. You are a left-handed batter facing a 6'7" lefty who can snap off a 78 to 80 mile an hour breaking ball on you.
No, it's not. And he commands it so well. You know, he throws it behind the count to get it over for a strike. When he's ahead or even, he can throw it that goes in and out of the strike zone.
Boom, 3 in a row. This time gets a ground ball to Shera, to Jeter for the force at second. The end result, first and third, 2 down. And Vinny Rottino is going to come out to hit, and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, will make his way out to the mound as there is activity now in the Yankee pen. Right-hander Corey Wade is up.
Well, CC has been outstanding tonight, but he's had a lot of different stuff. He's had times where he had to challenge hitters in a 3-2 count, so the fastball, he kind of leaves it up, but he's going strength against strength. He's also then found the range on his two-seamer and kept the ball down and gotten some ground balls. And then the finishing pitch that we've seen all night, that breaking ball that's so sharp that he can really rely on against righties and lefties. He's done a good job grinding through this out and giving up 2 runs. 8 hits, but he's still out there over 100 pitches and giving the Yankees another good chance to win.
Vinny Rottino into the game. Spent a little bit of time in recent years with the Marlins and the Brewers. He's 32 years of age, but has not had a lot of big league experience at all. Up in a key spot in this game. And he's one of these guys, Terry, at this point of his career, becomes a jack of all trades out of necessity. Outfield, corners on the infield, catch a little bit if necessary.
Saw him yesterday. He was going out to catch a side session by one of their starters. He's just making himself useful so he can stay on this 25-man roster. And this is a big at-bat right here. If CC makes a mistake and Vinny Rottino hits a ball in the gap, we got ourselves a ball game.
And that little visit from Larry Rothschild had 2 purposes. One, because the starting pitcher really bears down on the lineup in the scouting report how they're going to pitch him. So they didn't have really Rottino in their memory bank. They might have, but he wanted to remind him. And then also give him a blow as far as letting him rest a little bit, settle in for this big at-bat after going 100 pitches plus.
Ball 3. It's going to get Joe Girardi pacing in that Yankee dugout.
A lot like L.A. about a month ago. I think Vinny Rottino has the green light here. It's not necessarily mean he's going to swing, but I think he has the right to swing.
You're talking about Scott Van Slyke's big moment.
Yes.
You saw a few weeks back at Dodger Stadium. It looked like he had the right to swing, but he took it just off the corner for ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
We watched Joe Girardi take a quick turn on the 3-0 pitch and turn to Larry Rothschild. I think the statement was, if he walks him, do you get him? and they start brainstorming and talking about it. And it's like they're going to stick with the big horse.
Well, and the one thing they got to think about, Andres Torres is hitting 151 versus right-handers. He's hitting over 300 versus lefties, so I'm sure that's part of the conversation they were having.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. The Mets with 156 2-out runs this year, including 1 tonight, the most in baseball. Sharp breaking ball for a strike.
Mark Teixeira having to pinch in at first because of Torres' speed, and CC, the big lefty, falls off towards third, so they were pinching in for the bunt on the first pitch. He started to ease back now.
And a ground ball gets through Teixeira into the outfield. 1-run home. Throw to third, not in time as 2 runs score, and the Mets are down by just 1.
And Oro, you're just making the point, because of his speed and because of CC falling off the mound, they had to respect that, and it cost them 2 runs. If he's back normal depth, that's a 3 unassisted.
Easy.
That's all for Sabathia. Brand new game here at Citi Field. Yankees 5, Mets 4. By Taco Bell. The Mets with a couple of runs here in the bottom of the 6th and still batting in this strange game here tonight. 5-4, the Yankees lead the Mets. It was a battle most of the night for CC Sabathia. 9 hits, 2 walks, 3 errors behind him. And this play, Oral, that you were talking about, where Teixeira just couldn't handle it, being in ever so slightly against Torres.
He was in on the grass on the very first pitch and then started to ease back there as they got to 0-1. If it had been a little later in the count, he'd have been back even further. And then you don't have the runner getting in your way. And CC been following off, and at his size and speed, you've got to still respect the bunt. Mark saying he's sorry.
So Sabathia can still win it. He can also lose it, depending on what happens here. Corey Wade has done a very nice job stranding inherited runners. One of those key statistics for middle relievers who often enter in the middle of an inning.
This is what Terry talked about earlier, getting near the end of the game and which bullpen will really shine. And the Yankees bullpen is much better statistically than the Mets bullpen.
Andres Torres looked like he wanted to run right there.
The strike taken by Ruben Tejada. The Yankee bullpen, by the way, as a whole, has a 2.70 ERA this season, second to best in the American League. And remember, Mariano Rivera out for the year. David Robertson was on the DL, just recently back. But other relievers like Wade, like Boone Logan, Clay Rapata, Cody Epley, guys you may not know that much about. They've done a nice job getting the Yankees into the late innings, and Rafael Soriano has done a terrific job closing in the absence of Rivera. The lead down to 1. A ball and a strike.
And if Wade can't close out this inning now, you'll see Logan or Rapata get up as a situational lefty because the Mets will hit for Scott Hairston.
Into left field, a base hit. And the game is tied.
This ball is up right here, right down the middle. Just slightly up, but right down the middle, 79 miles an hour. He just does a great job staying on it and staying in the rhythm of the Mets scoring with 2 outs.
3 more runs this inning with 2 outs. 4 of their 5 runs tonight are with 2 outs, and they lead the majors in that department. And Met fans, to say they have reconnected with this team, you know, the last couple of years were some tough ones for Met fans, on the field, off the field. Felt disconnected, disenchanted. But boy, they love this bunch. There is some star power, Wright, Santana. But other than that, a bunch of guys just doing everything they can, in some cases overachieving and helping this team find ways to win games that it doesn't appear they have a chance to win. The 2-0 to David Wright. Misses badly with a breaking ball, does Wade. 3-0. You turn right loose, Tito.
Always. Always. If you can, a hitter like David Wright, if you can tie the game with one swing, which obviously they can put him ahead, you let him, you turn him loose, and you trust him.
He'll take a strike. 3-1. Kirk Neuenhuis has moved into the on-deck circle for Hairston, as Terry predicted.
And if David Wright keeps it up what he's doing this year, he's going to be an MVP candidate. He's going to get a lot of votes. The numbers he keeps putting up.
Ball 4, bases loaded. Larry Rothschild again. Rothschild to the mound. Clay Rapata, a left-hander, just getting up and starting to throw. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
This is the Mets' best pinch hitter. He's 4 for 6. And again, the Yankees have a lefty up. I'm surprised they didn't have it up for this situation.
Does this have anything to do with David Robertson being able to go back-to-back days? He might be unavailable.
Bell tie strike. Robertson went 25 pitches last night. Just back from the DL about a week and a half ago. Neuenhuis 65 hits at .283 average. The bases are loaded with 2 down. The Mets have scored 3 times this inning to tie it. And Neuenhuis, another guy who falls into that category of given an opportunity and making the most of it.
When you're around them for any length of time, they're having a ball. Terry Collins is having fun. They believe in each other. I mean, to get themselves back in this game is not that easy.
R.A. Dickey's on the hook for a 5-2. You got CC Sabathia out there, a pro against the Yankees that are grinding out good at bats, put some numbers up. R.A. was gaffed and in the boat, but he wiggled out and he spit that hook.
And he's still in the dugout. I love that.
Yep.
Out of play.
They didn't get him quite in the ice box. They got him on the boat. He spit it out.
Now, but I got to bring back the point. We're into both bullpens, and the Mets are at a disadvantage.
Three in the inning, bases loaded, 2 down, 1 and 2 on Neuenhuis. Up and in. The Mets strand 3, but they score 3. And we've got a brand new game here at Citi Field. Presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by the 2012 Fiat 500. Visit fiatusa.com. Changes for the Mets as we go to the 7th inning in a 5-5 tie. Vinny Ratina will stay in the game in left field. And the new pitcher for the Mets, put him in the 4th spot in the lineup, is 41-year-old right-hander Miguel Batista. Been around forever, pitched for everybody. I think everybody in baseball has either been a teammate of his or come across him at some point. He's pitched for 11 different major league teams.
And he throws them all. He throws the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer, the cutter, the change, the curve. He's at a point right now where it's about deception and mystery not one or two high-quality pitches.
Because you're right, he used to be electric.
Oh, yeah. That slider would just disappear.
Tied at 5, top 7. Derek Jeter 0 for 3. Probably glad to have seen the last of Dickey. 2 groundouts and a strikeout. And that fastball will ride him off the plate. Ball 1. 92 looks like a 102 after the knuckleball. A swing and a fly ball to right field, and Jeter's 0 for 4. So Batista records the first out here in the top of the 7th. Tied at 5. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. We will see the Mets again next weekend. They are out in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. That's the game we'll have for you 1 week from tonight. The Dodgers lost today, beaten by the Angels 5-3. The Angels taking 2 out of 3 in that series. Here's Curtis Granderson. A ground out, a walk, and hit by a pitch.
So many things true to form here tonight, with the Yankees scoring a large percentage of their runs again on the home run. The Mets scoring with 2 outs, which they've done all year. I guess the 2 pitchers really didn't cooperate quite as much, with R.A. Dickey and C.C. Sabathia. They've both been outstanding.
Left-hander Boone Logan now up in the pen with Lucas Duda, dangerous left-handed batter. Duda lead it off for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. Decisions. You managed, Terry, in both leagues. National League with the Phillies and, of course, American League with the Red Sox. After a few years with the Red Sox, were you just as comfortable going back into a National League game, an interleague game, and playing this style?
No, I actually wasn't. And I always reminded the coaches to grab me before I ever went to the mound. I mean, double switches aren't that hard. They're common sense.
Anderson gone.
But you're not used to it, and you're in a different style. You know, all of a sudden you're concerned about the bullpen having guys up in case your pitcher comes up in an RBI situation. In the American League, you take your pitcher out when he's done. You make your moves according. The National League, sometimes it's actually easier sometimes because the game dictates. But it's different than what you're used to.
Two down, nobody on. Alex Rodriguez 1 for 3, had an infield hit. He's also struck out twice. If you had a choice, Terry, DH in both leagues, pitcher hit in both leagues, or leave it the way it is?
DH in both leagues.
Oral?
I leave it the way it is.
Really?
I like to hit.
I think it would create more jobs. I think the players would love that. I think the fans like to see scoring, see better hitters. And I think it needs to be uniform. Just because with all the interleague play, you're putting teams at disadvantages.
I think a wider variety of baseball players make it to the big leagues because pitchers hit. I think that you need the utility player. You need the guy that can play short, second, and left field. You need a guy that can possibly switch hit, that maybe doesn't hit for power, but he can move the ball around and do the things that are good for a coach. So I think you get more one-dimensional if we have one-dimensional bench players, if we had the DH on both sides.
Chopped foul.
Well, you actually make a good point about that. Late in my career, I went to Milwaukee to be a bench player and be a pinch hitter. Guess what? Who was I going to pinch hit for? Yount, Molitor?
You wouldn't have played.
Yeah, I was like the mascot.
Yep. Remember when Commissioner Selig was on the air with us? He said both you and your dad had your careers ended on his team, right?
Yeah, there's my last year in the big leagues.
Always a smile on your face, though.
Would you sub for Bernie the Brewer?
Yeah, I did all kind of errands and
give me coffee.
Yeah. Tom Treblehorn asked me if I was loose. He didn't want me to pinch hit. He wanted me to go get him something to drink.
2-1 the count on A-Rod. One hopper down to third. David Wright. And the inning is over. 7th inning stretch. Mr. Met having a good time. 5-5 your score. Welcome back to Citi Field as we take a look now at our game track, brought to you by Ram. A 5-5 tie after the Mets were down 5-1 early. Nick Swisher with a big 3-run, a home run. The streak for R.A. Dickey ended in the 3rd inning tonight. CC Sabathia battled, had a lead, gave up a couple of runs. There were some bad defense behind it, which really cost him tonight as well. One of the subplots heading into this series, I don't know what to make of this, was after Frank Francisco, who's gone on the DL today, the closer for the Mets, called the Yankees a bunch of chickens. The New York Post responded with a headline that says, "Cluck you." They can do headlines like nobody's business here in New York. And that's Derek Jeter. Originally, the chicken was given the name Jeter. Tim Burdack was the reliever who dispatched a clubhouse attendant to go buy a chicken. They came back with a live chicken, which they then renamed Little Jerry Seinfeld after the famous Seinfeld episode. And then they decided they wanted the chicken to have a good home. So the chicken, this is Burdack, the chicken is going to a farm sanctuary in Watkins Glen, New York. All of this started because Frank Francisco, who you know well, Oral, pitched for you in Texas, said the Yankees were a bunch of chickens, and he said it was kind of taken out of context. What he meant was they complain a lot about calls, not that they're chickens. But
and Frankie owns a chicken farm, and so when they opened this chicken up and it came in the clubhouse, he looked in the bag and he goes, "Oh, that chicken's 35 days old." He knew right away. He's a chicken expert.
Left-hander Boone Logan into the game to face the left-hand hitting Lucas Duda to begin the bottom of the 7th. Logan, another solid contributor to the Yankee bullpen this year.
And Boone Logan's kind of transformed himself into a strictly situational lefty, to a guy where you can leave him in there against a couple righties if you want to, if they're sandwiched in between, because he can get right-handers out with that two-seamer.
At what level batting average do you start to think this lefty can get both righties and lefties out? I know the left-hander, he's probably going to be 170 batting average, but 250 and below?
You know what, Orl? It's not so much the batting average as the production. You know, depending on the situation, if an extra base hit beats you or a single.
And Duda goes around for the first out. Activity in the Yankee pen. Freddie Garcia is up. And this would make you feel even more that perhaps David Robertson is unavailable after throwing 25 pitches last night. Garcia, one of the issues is if they bring him in, Terry, that's going to bring Daniel Murphy into the game, possibly Ike Davis. Davis had some food poisoning. So Terry Collins has a couple of options. So would Joe Girardi rather have his lefty face some right-handed batters or Freddie Garcia face some left-handed batters?
Well, Terry Collins had that big book of numbers in front of him. We went in there today. Freddie Garcia, right-handers are hitting 392 against him.
Wow.
And Terry Collins knows that.
Justin Turner. Turner 0 for 3, reached on an error his last time up. Turner found his way to the Mets after getting claimed off waivers from Baltimore a couple of years ago, and has found a home here in New York. Hit 260 last year and 435 at bats. And he's at 253 right now. Rally glove.
Yeah, or he just doesn't want to put it on the cement below his chair in case somebody spills a drink.
And a strike, 3-1. Well, you look back at the last inning when the Mets scored 3 runs, 2 key plays. The Cano error on the ball that Turner hit that he didn't get to out in shallow right, and then the ball that eluded to Sheroff, the bat of Torres. Now fly ball to right. Swisher feeling for the wall, makes the catch on the warning track. 2 down. On a Monday, July 9th, Matt Kemp in the National League looked to dethrone defending champion Robinson Cano and the American League. It's the 2012 State Farm Home Run Derby, July 9th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on ESPN. Robinson Cano, defending champ and American League team captain. We'll see. Two down, nobody on, bottom of the 7th, tied at 5. Ronnie Cedeno, 2 for 3. Inside corner for a strike. Yankees had a 5-1 lead going to the bottom of the 5th. It's 5-5 now. The Mets batting in the bottom of the 7th. Pops it up near second. And the inning is over. End of 7, Citi Field. The Yankees and the Mets tied at 5. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Top of the 8th at Citi Field. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. And our outstanding Sunday Night Baseball crew, part of the AL-NL Showdown, presented by State Farm. Yankees and Mets tied at 5 in a very interesting game. Miguel Batista back out for his second inning of work for the Mets. Robinson Cano will lead it off for the Yankees. Mark Teixeira and Nick Swisher to follow. Swisher with a 3-run home run earlier tonight.
This is tough duty right now for Miguel Batista getting through these next 3 hitters.
You look at the Yankee lineup, 6 out of 9 guys have double figures in home runs. And the Mets, there's 1, Duda. So when you're in these really close games, as a pitcher, as a bullpen, one swing of the bat in one lineup kills you. The other side, you're just trying to prevent rallies. Get the leadoff hitter out, don't walk anybody, keep the guy in the ballpark, make him go the opposite field in the big ballpark. With the Yankees, boy, they can pop it out opposite field. 6 out of 9 guys, they can hit you away to center, they can go to right.
And what they really do is if you make a mistake, they make you pay. And for Miguel Batista to get through these guys without a mistake.
High and deep to center, and he has put the Yankees back on top, just as you guys were talking about. Dangerous duty in the middle of the Yankee lineup, and they've got the lead back. Tim Burdack, the left-hander, looking on for the Met pen. 6'5" Yankees. Teixeira, the batter. That beautiful fluid swing from Cano, driving a towering fly ball. Looks like about 425, 430 feet to straightaway center field. Now Teixeira lifts one in the air to right center. We're out number 1.
I mean, Robinson Cano has one of the prettiest swings in all of baseball. And this ball splits the plate. It's got a little tail away, and he stays on it. Look at the head on the ball and the leverage behind the swing. He knows he can hit it.
We were commenting during batting practice that he has the least amount of effort for a guy who hits it the farthest. It's just so easy. It's so smooth.
Look at Jeter will put him right in his place. It's like, shut up, kid, go play.
The Yankee fans now start to make some noise, and the Met fans trying to drown them out. Swisher takes low ball 1. There is no activity in the Yankee pen, and what we can for sure now say about the Yankee situation is David Robertson is unavailable. He would be warming up right now in a normal situation. But fresh off the DL, 25 pitches last night.
And I think Joe Girardi expected him to be available. At least that's what it sounded like. That's what I took out of our meeting.
Yeah, well, it was like he's going to play catch. I'll check in with him, but I kind of expect him to be ready.
Over the outside corner, a ball and a strike. So it looks like Boone Logan, who worked a 3-up, 3-down 7th, will be asked to come back out and try to take care of the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. Big swing and a miss. The Yankees with 2 home runs tonight and 15 home runs in their 6 games against the Mets this year. The Yankees lead the major leagues in home runs with 112. And they need him to score. They've scored more than half of their runs on homers this year. The highest percentage in baseball. And gets away 2-2.
you know, they become a little bit one-dimensional, especially with Gardner not in the lineup, playing left field and running, stealing bases. But the good side of that is they hit so many home runs that one dimension is pretty good.
They're just 1-13 this year when they don't hit a home run. Just missed.
But you don't see many Yankee hitters chase balls out of the strike zone. That's why it's almost fascinating, the fact that they're hitting such a low average with runners in scoring position, because they're all so good about swinging at strikes.
Kevin Long, the hitting coach, looking on for the Yankee dugout on the third base side of the field.
Old former Arizona Wildcat pulling tonight hard.
Arizona's up 5-1 on South Carolina at the College World Series in the 8th.
And Orr will be heading back to Omaha for Game 2 tomorrow night, right?
Game 2 and possible Game 3. Arizona, South Carolina, best of 3.
You better get there in a hurry, Oral. It's going to be two and done.
Oh boy!
Get there quick.
I'll be there bright and early tomorrow morning.
Terry, a part of the University of Arizona's College World Series championship team, 1980.
80.
Oh, 80.
Easy.
1980.
He didn't want to creep back into the 70s.
3-2. Grounder to second. 2 down. They don't call them the Bronx Bombers for nothing. As mentioned, they lead the major leagues in home runs. 52% of their runs scoring via the home run. No other team is over 45%. There are those who feel, hey, it's great. They got this weapon. It's all good. And there are those who feel once October comes, assuming the Yankees are playing in October, and you're dealing with the better pitching teams, and the ball's not going to fly out of the ballpark as much. And then, Terry, can the Yankees manufacture a run here and there if they need to?
And I know Joe Girardi gets tired of talking about it because he gets asked about it and asked about it. But I think it's a pertinent question, and one that we're not going to know, because we know that they're most likely going to make the playoffs. But can they survive like this? It's hard.
Fouled off by Ibanez, a ball and a strike.
And, you know, some of the guys in their lineup, Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter has 6 stolen bases, but these guys used to be 20 stolen base guys. So not only were they very intelligent hitters, they were tremendous base runners.
Ibanez getting some playing time with Gardner out for so long, and he's got 11 home runs this year. And he pulls a base hit into right field. He's 3 for 4 tonight.
He had a big home run last night, too. They were down by 3-0. He had a 3-run homer to tie it up. What, 7th inning or so? Low fastball, is driving the ball, seeing the ball really well. Even though it's a good pitcher's pitch, he gets the barrel on it and shoots it through the hole. He hits his ball hard. It's like a 2-hopper.
And meanwhile, look who's up. Joe Girardi waited a while till later in the inning, but now David Robertson is up in the pen. Meanwhile, Ibanez will leave for a pinch runner. Dwayne Wise is into the game.
And don't be surprised if they let Dwayne Wise run right away.
A run this inning for the Yankees on the home run by Cano. Robertson now up in the pen. And a pinch hitter out in the on-deck circle for the Yankees should the inning continue. Eric Chavez is loosening up. He hit a home run last night. His first pinch hit home run. He's feeling so good, he's going to try swinging right-handed tonight. He's warming up both ways. Yankees trying to take 2 out of 3 in this series. They were 21-21 back on May 22nd, a night that General Manager Brian Cashman held a meeting with the team just to say, hey, believe in you guys, nobody's going anywhere, long season. And coincidence or not, the Yankees have gone 21-7 since, including a 10-game winning streak.
I don't think it's any coincidence that since Brian Cashman has had more pull in that organization, there's been less rash decisions. I mean, I just think that, anybody that's been around him, he sees it through and he believes in what he's doing, and I think they're better off for that.
You see the ultra-competitive American League East, all 5 teams over 500 within 6 games of one another. Boston won today. They beat Atlanta 9-4. Baltimore beat Washington. They took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. Tampa Bay swept a doubleheader from the Phillies today.
But now Interleague's done, and the East is going to start playing themselves again. Right. And there they go. They're going to beat up on each other.
Yeah. The other team, the Blue Jays, lost to the Marlins today, but still took 2 out of 3 in that series. 0-2 the count on Chris Stewart. And he lays off high. Gold foul. Meanwhile, in the National League East, some teams have fallen off. The Phillies are struggling. The Marlins are struggling.
And the Phillies may get Chase Utley back on Wednesday, but you almost wonder, it's never too late to write him off, but it's been such a struggle for him. And
you wonder, even with Utley back, you can't expect him to be the Utley of 5 years ago, at least not right away. It remains to be seen, obviously, how the knees hold up and what kind of production he can bring.
What kind of mobility he'll have at second base. No Roy Halladay right now. Ryan Howard, no.
The one thing I will say, he still has that presence.
Oh, he sure does.
And that'll help just in itself.
Cliff Lee still doesn't have a victory? That's amazing.
I picked him to win the Cy Young.
I know.
Don't look at me like that. Don't give me that look.
I know you did. It's a tough break. Bad pick. I think I might have picked him too.
I think I called you.
Yeah.
This is a good at-bat here. This is a great at-bat. Now Dwayne Wise gets to be in motion. And I'm a little surprised they're not going to hold him on here. He's going to get a running start. This is that situation we talk about every Sunday. If this ball's in the gap, he's going to score.
Got him. The inning is over, but the Yankees have the lead back. Robinson Cano leading off the inning with a deep drive straightaway center field, 400 feet and then some. 6-5 Yankees going to the bottom of the 8th. Monday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. 6-5 lead for the Yankees over the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in front of the largest crowd ever to attend a game in this ballpark, breaking the record that was set last night, 42,364 here at Citi Field, and they have seen a good one and an entertaining one.
You know what? Good for Mets fans. Man, they've been waiting for this.
Yep.
They wanted to be relevant for the longest time, and they are.
Bottom 8, Tolley leads it off, takes a strike. Boone Logan still in the game for the Yankees. Dwayne Wise stays in the game in left field after running for Raul Ibanez. David Robertson is up in the Yankee pen, so we may see him at some point this inning. The 0-1 outside, a ball and a strike.
So middle of August, you think the Mets will still be relevant?
If they get some bullpen help. I do think the way they're winning is hard to do for an entire year. I mean, your weaknesses get exposed, and right now their bullpen is a weakness.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Sometimes the closer you are to being a good team, the more you realize where you're deficient. And giving up runs late really hurts a team's morale.
It sure does.
And the bullpen has the worst ERA in the National League, and they put Frank Francisco on the DL today as Tolley chases, and he's gone one down.
Well, if R.A. Dickey and Johan Santana can pitch, let's say, 6 games over 500 each the rest of the year, that's 12 over 500, and the rest of the rotation can go 500. That's pretty doggone good. They will be relevant.
Joe Girardi to the mound, and he's already made the move to the pen. Good job by Boone Logan getting 4 batters in his stint, and here comes David Robertson trying to get 2 outs of the 8th inning and to maintain this 1-run lead. The Yankees lead the Mets 6-5 as Joe Girardi goes to his bullpen. Sports Center is coming up at the end of the game tonight. Some of the stories they'll be looking at: a one-on-one with R.A. Dickey, tonight's starting pitcher for the New York Mets. That's with our own Oral Hershiser, who coached Dickey with the Texas Rangers. Kevin Youkilis, done as a member of the Red Sox. He's going to put on some White Sox, traded to Chicago today. And the Sunday conversation with NBA champion LeBron James. David Robertson into the game for the Yankees. Pitched yesterday, an inning, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 25 pitches. Missed a month with a pulled oblique, came back last week. When he is on, Tito, he is as good as there is in this kind of a situation.
And what makes him even tougher is he can get lefties out actually better than he gets right-handers out. So if you're sitting at home and you're wondering, okay, why are they not hitting a left-hander? He dominates left-handers.
Daniel Murphy's a left-handed bat. He's been scuffling. Ike Davis had some food poisoning, still recovering from it.
Intestinal turmoil.
Intestinal turmoil was the term, yes. Terry Collins told us that Davis was available. I think oyster's the culprit. But he is available if needed, but Vinny Rotino will stay to face Robertson. Big cut and a foul off to the right, a ball and a strike.
And for the Yankees, it may have been a blessing in disguise when Robertson ends up getting hurt a little bit, because it puts Soriano at the back end of the bullpen, where I think he's better suited. He's better suited for clean innings, come in and get 3 outs. David Robertson can come in situations in the middle of an inning and get that strikeout.
The original plan was the reverse. Robertson
Yes.
was given the first opportunity, had a rough game, then got hurt. Soriano's done great ever since taking over. Soriano's a guy who saved 45 games a couple of years ago for Tampa Bay.
And he's not used to coming in the middle of an inning, and that is a huge adjustment for pitchers.
And he was so used to being the closer, I think it was actually part of his whole persona and his ego. And I think it was hard for him to fit in the other role.
Well, I agree. The way they carry themselves, the way they look at themselves, I agree with that. And on the flip side, this guy is such a weapon pitching where he is in the 7th or 8th.
They love being the grande caballo sometimes, you know, every guy, the big horse. And some guys love to carry that around with them, and other guys don't. And I think Soriano loves that responsibility.
2-2. Got it. Outside corner at the knees. 2 down. Let's check in with Buster Olney.
The Yankees will be getting bullpen help in the next 2 months. I talked to Brian Cashman, the Yankees general manager, today, and he said that David Aardsma, of course, the veteran reliever who served as a closer for the Seattle Mariners, started in a minor league rehabilitation assignment. They're thinking he's going to be back sometime the last 2 weeks of July, and sometime in August they'll be getting back Jabba Chamberlain, who has come back despite that horrific ankle dislocation he suffered in spring training.
And their bullpen already with the second best bullpen ERA in the American League this year. And all you have to do is watch baseball in October to see how tough those outs are to get sometimes in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings.
And power arms get it done.
Andres Torres turns around to bat left-handed against the right-hander Robertson.
The power arms get it done too, because they have swing and miss stuff, and it's keeping the runner from moving up 90 feet because the strikeout and not a productive out is so key in those close October playoff games.
I think there were a lot of people, a lot of Yankee fans who thought when Mariano Rivera went down with a knee injury that would have a crushing impact on the team, and there was good reason to think that with what Rivera's done for so many years, but they have found a way to still have one of the most productive pens in baseball. A base hit through the right side for Torres.
You know, when you manage in New York, whether you play, manage, or coach, along with that comes a lot of criticism. I think one thing Joe Girardi has really done a good job of is protecting those bullpen arms so they can be healthy, so they can be productive.
Yankees trying to protect a 1-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th. The tying run at first with 2 down. It's Torres. Do you guys think he's running?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a running situation late in the game. Torres, the leadoff hitter, they're going to try and find a pitch to do it.
Got a guy up there to hit singles.
Yeah, they don't mind with Ruben Tejada leading off, you know, the last inning. They'll take their shot here and try and push the envelope sooner or later.
He's got a good lead.
Ooh, he had a good jump too, but he just didn't go.
Torres 2 stolen bases this year. He's been caught twice as well as Tejada steps in 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs tonight.
Be very surprised if the first time David Robertson doesn't pick up that knee that Andres Torres doesn't go. As long as he slide steps, he may keep him there, but when he lifts that leg, he's going to go.
He pitched, he went over quick, and I expect him to kind of hold right here and freeze him. Going quick again.
Andres Torres asked for time from first base umpire Ted Barrett and walked off the bag before Barrett granted it.
Yep.
Well, that was strange. Unless Barrett said time before he put his arms up in the air.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, he just got up and walked off the bag while Teixeira was retrieving the baseball.
Again, because they've fallen behind the count, it kind of eliminates the pitch out. That's why they're giving Torres so much attention.
There he goes. Got a good jump. And he's in there easily.
He's not going to try and pitch around Tejada with David Wright on deck. You don't want to face Wright with first and second, 2 out. Even though it's 2-0, they'll try and make a quality pitch. But this is not a pitch around situation with that man in the on deck circle.
And I'm very surprised Robinson Cano is holding a runner in this situation. If he wants to steal third, let him. He's going to score on a base hit anyway. I think they're actually backing him up right now. You want to eliminate that ball from hitting the outfield grass. We get a shot. We can see right there. He's got to be back on the grass.
Way back. I always felt like
it's a balk right there.
A balk has been called on Robertson.
That actually might help the Yankees, but you know, in a good fielding position.
It doesn't. You're right. You're exactly right.
But where it'll hurt him is that if Tejada gets to first base, now David Wright's going to have that hole on the right side of the infield. A little flinch out there by David Robertson. Yeah, right there. He stopped, started, and then all of a sudden he knew he had done something wrong. He tried to step off, but they caught it.
And a strike, 3-1.
This is a great time to be a hitter. You're ahead in the count. You have David Wright sitting behind you. You're going to get a good pitch to hit.
Tying run at third. Go ahead run at the plate. Bottom of the 8th, 2 down. The Mets have scored 4 of their 5 runs tonight after 2 were out. Something they've done consistently well all season long. Pulls it down to Rodriguez, and the inning is over. End of 8. Yankees 6, Mets 5. Robinson Cano with a home run to lead off the top of the 8th inning. That run stands up as the difference in this game right now. 6-5, the Yankees lead. We go to the top of the 9th here at Citi Field. Tomorrow, the New York Yankees kick off Hope Week 2012, a week-long community program intended to inspire individuals into action in their own communities. Each day during Hope Week, from Monday through Friday, the Yankees will reach out to an individual, family, or organization worthy of recognition and support. By involving their players, coaches, minor league affiliates, and front office staff, the Yankees hope to convey the message that everyone can help make their community a better place. Visit hopeweek.com for more information. New pitcher for the Mets, Bobby Parnell. Pinch hitter for the Yankees, Eric Chavez. A hard-throwing Bobby Parnell, who has been given the opportunity every now and again to close games over the last couple of years, has never taken the job and run with it. So pitching more in setup or tie games down a run, that sort of thing, as he is right now. But he gets it going. He can get it going at about 98 miles an hour every now and again. Chavez hit a pinch hit home run last night, the first pinch hit home run of his career. And the Yankees won by a run.
And Eric Chavez, star with Oakland, perennial all-star, suffers so many injuries, and he comes back and he makes himself a useful bench player, and he seems happy doing it.
And he's gone, one down. Now, with Frank Francisco placed on the DL today with an oblique problem that he suffered a couple of days ago, the role gets a little bit bigger for Bobby Parnell, at least for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the level of the margin for error is becoming smaller on an already difficult situation.
And they will need Parnell to close games, Terry Collins told us, with Francisco on the DL.
And the injury that Frankie Francisco has is so hard to know when it's healed. When you get that oblique injury, the intercostal muscle or something like that, it could be almost worse than a broken bone. Right when you think it's getting better, you go out there and you try and pitch, and it can still grab you.
Jeter 0 for 4. And a breaking ball sent foul. Up in the Yankee pen right now, their closer, Rafael Soriano. Soriano doing the job in place for the injured Mariano Rivera, and doing it well. Up and away, a ball and 2 strikes. Soriano, when he comes into the game for the bottom of the 9th, the first batter he's going to face, David Wright. So there may be a little bit more drama left in this one yet, and there has certainly been a lot already tonight. 1-2. Back of the bag. Tejada makes the play on the first, 2 down.
This is the kind of game or a series where, as a manager, you worry after the series when you're going to Cleveland or wherever, who's coming in, that you're going to have a letdown. It almost has that playoff atmosphere. Now you got to move on, and the games mean exactly the same, but they don't feel the same.
The Yankees are home tomorrow night as they begin a series with Cleveland. That's the Monday night game on ESPN. Hiroki Kuroda and Josh Tomlin tomorrow night. The Mets begin a series in Chicago against the Cubs. Granderson, the batter, 0 for 2, also has walked and been hit by a pitch, and he scored a couple of runs. "21 home runs this year, 41 home runs last year. For a guy who still says, I'm not really a power hitter. But the numbers suggest otherwise.
Explain that to the other teams.
Yeah. He talks about simple things, dropping his hands, getting his front foot down earlier, just little timing mechanisms. That Met game tomorrow in Chicago, Johan Santana will be on the mound at Wrigley. Travis Wood going for the Cubs. Up and away, 3-1.
Arnell went 100 miles an hour. The pitch before that, that one was 98. The mechanics remind me of Jason Isringhouse. The way he kind of comes set and the leg kick, it looks like Jason made an impact on him.
Full count.
But as hard as he's throwing, if he doesn't locate, it can go out in a hurry.
Right center field, not deep at all, and the inning is over. To the bottom of the ninth, Rafael Soriano will be coming into the game for the New York Yankees. David Wright will be leading it off for the New York Mets. Is coming down right now. 6-5. The Yankees lead the Mets. The Yankees 3 outs away from winning this game. David Wright's going to lead off the bottom of the ninth for the Mets against Yankee closer Rafael Soriano. 14 of 15 in save opportunities this year in place of the injured Mariano Rivera. Many have scattered in the last couple of minutes as the rain really started to fall. Daniel Murphy out in the on-deck circle in the pitcher spot. So it'll be Wright, Murphy, Duda. 3-4-5 in the Met lineup against Soriano in a one-run game.
And if David Wright can get on, he's got 14 stolen base attempts this year. Daniel Murphy handles the bat, obviously puts him in a better position.
Nasty slider, 0-1.
And here's one of the things we talked about earlier. Soriano starting the inning clean. He can throw out of, looks like a modified windup.
Teixeira over for a look, but out of play, 0-2. Soriano's such a big factor for the Yankees this year. With Rivera going on the DL, then Robertson going on the DL. Wright just gets a piece.
David's made so many good adjustments this year as far as his swing. He's closer. He's squared up in his stance. His bat's a little flatter when it comes to the hitting zone. His hands are a little lower. He's made some major moves that have really paid off.
Just inside.
That's a ball, but that's a good pitch. I mean, that ball's, but it's still a good pitch. I mean, it opens up. If he executes this pitch, he should get him out.
Slider away, or?
Yeah, slider in the dirt. Even right down the middle as long as it's in the dirt. They're coming in.
Doubled up on the fastball.
One reason you can go to that fastball twice in there, it's this ballpark. You have a lot of room out there. And so the fly ball doesn't hurt you as much. In other ballparks where certain parts of the field will hurt you, you're going to be a little bit more scared about doubling up inside, making a mistake in there.
There's the slider, and Wright fouls it off.
And I think with all their scouting reports they have, they know David Wright's been fighting balls off behind in the count to right field. So they went and took an extra shot in there. Serves two purposes. You get him out, one. If not, you set up your next pitch.
A steady rain now falling here in the bottom of the ninth. Mets down a run. And a good at bat by Wright.
And the more pitches he sees, the more dangerous he gets.
And he's already seen 7 from Soriano. And he'll get another one after this. 2-2.
Well, this is the pitch that you've got a chance to throw a ball and get him out. And he hasn't really tried the breaking ball in the dirt. He's gotten a slider and tried to get him out with it, but he's left it up slightly. 3-2, he's going to want to come in with a strike. You don't want to walk him.
Got that one up a little bit.
There's a fine line between throwing a good breaking ball and then trying to throw a great one, and it slips out the top half of your hand and you hang it. And it seems to me on most of his breaking balls right now, he's overthrowing them a little bit. Maybe take a little speed off, give him a little more time to break to get the ball down.
Got him. A 10-pitch battle won by Soriano.
Well, he starts him out with 2 strikes and gets to 0-2. And then after 0-2, it is a very good battle by David Wright. He fights off a breaking ball. There's the fastball, and he decides to double up, and he fouls off a very tough pitcher's pitch, a breaking ball that was up, a fastball that was up, and all of a sudden David Wright is going to fight off as many pitches, but Soriano does not give in and makes one more quality pitch. David did a great job getting him to a point where maybe he make a mistake, but he didn't.
I think David Wright knew he had a couple pitches to hit in that sequence and didn't get them.
One down in the inning. The batter was the pinch hitter Daniel Murphy. Left-hand hitting infielder. Murphy does not have a home run this year. Hit 6 last year, 12 the year before. Hitting .270 on the season, but just 9 for his last 62. Remember Ike Davis on the bench, but suffered from food poisoning yesterday. As Murphy lines one to Cano, who makes the catch for out number 2.
And here's New York's power bat.
Right fielder Lucas Duda, 11 home runs on the season, coming to the plate. Mets down to their final out. 6-5 Yankees, bottom 9. And a strike. Now we see Ike Davis. He's out of the on-deck circle in Justin Turner's spot. Terry Collins opting for Murphy first in the pitcher's spot. Davis only if Duda can reach and extend the game. And he will. A 2-out single by Lucas Duda. The tying run is aboard. Ike Davis is coming up. Davis got off to a horrendous start this season, but he's been hot lately. Friday night, first inning, Andy Pettit. High fly ball, got a little bit of help in and out of the glove of Swisher over the wall for a grand slam.
And as we watch the Yankees align this defensively, they'll be deep in the outfield, especially in right field. They want the Yankees or the Mets to have to get 2 hits to score this run. I mean, Swisher's almost on the warning track.
If he gets one in the gap, it's not going to be a real easy relay because of the wet grass from the rain.
Just about 15 feet from the warning track and right. Rain continues to fall. Runner at first, 2 down. Slider for a strike.
And you'll see Teixeira stay on the line at first. They'll let the single go through the hole. They don't want that ball going down into the right field corner.
And a fly ball to right field. Swisher there, and the Yankees win it. The Mets battled back from a 4-run deficit to tie it. But the Yankees get the run in the top of the 8th inning on the home run by Robinson Cano. Swisher homered earlier in the game. Soriano gets the save, and the Yankees win 6-5. Tonight's Chevrolet player of the game, Robinson Cano, for the home run in the 8th inning that broke the tie. That run stood up as the game winner as the Yankees beat the Mets 6-5, take 2 out of 3, and raise their record on the season to 43-28. Fun ball game here at Citi Field tonight. The Yankees win it 6-5. Sports Center is coming up next right here on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, Buster Olney, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Citi Field in New York.